Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I've won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And we don't I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I me if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get the show going. I'm back. Took a week off. Um, had a surgery. It was successful. Um, Took a lot of biopsies, so I don't have the results yet to those biopsies. It takes about a week or two, actually like a week and a half, to get those results. So I still got a few more days to see what's going on inside of my throat. But hope everyone else is having a good week. Like I said, I took a week off. I thought I was going to be able to come back on and conduct my show, but there was no way. I like my throat was hurting a lot, and like 24, 48 hours after the surgery, I was still out of it with my throat. So I just decided just to take the time off and reflect on myself and heal myself in my way. And if you can see my shorts, you can look in my shorts. I give you permission. You can see what I have done and where I have been. I did take a little trip to Niagara Falls this past weekend, and it was the most magical, beautiful experience of my life. Like always, when I go there, it's so rejuvenating me, and it's a great time. I put a couple of videos up on the shorts. I definitely got to put up more. I have so much video. It's just going to take me some time to do. But I will be posting more shorts. Check it out. They're beautiful videos. I got to see fireflies again. Fireflies are becoming something very special to me, and the fact that I was able to see them again in upstate New York was magical. There's a video that I took, and it's called Patience, because it took me time to make that video work and put together, and the patience it took for me to follow the firefly, and the perfect timing of him lighting up with the song was just priceless and perfect. It just made my trip um wow, just an amazing time I had out there. And from the fire, I got so many of the fire pit that we did a fire and lit up the night, and it was so cool. Such a good time. It's such a good time that I want to do it again. Definitely gonna do it again. Probably towards the end of August into September. Probably do that. Go back over to upstate New York. Um, it's just creating good memories, you know. Niagara Falls, I tell you guys a million times, it's such a paradise and such enjoyment in my heart. And just to see the falls and to experience and hear the rush of the water and the vibrations and the mist, it's like a blessing and a baptism at the same time. And the amount of people that were there was pretty wild. A lot of foreigners. Oh my goodness, there was a lot of foreigners there. A lot of a lot of Indians, a lot of people from the other side of the world was all there in Niagara Falls, and I was like, wow. I mean, if I scream out ice, these people are gonna go running. They are gonna run. They probably jump off the bridge. And I'm like, don't jump off the bridge. Like it was that many immigrants that were there, and a lot of them were tourists. A lot of them probably are here illegally. I don't know. Um, but I tell you right now, if ICE was to show up there, they'll have a field day for sure. Um, and a lot has gone on since I've been gone. Still a little tired. Let me turn off this AC because it's making me cold. Um, a lot has happened in the past week with the Trump and his Epstein stuff, and not only the Epstein stuff, but it's other things that are happening that's causing is it like a domino effect. So we're right now in the domino effect where we knock down one and another falls and another falls and another falls and another falls, and you got to get that main domino on the top. Now, who is that main individual? We don't know. I think the sacrificial lamb of all this operation is going to be Obama. I think he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, and they're just going to feed him to the wolves. And the same way they brought him in is the same way they're going to take him out. Um, these people that are the 1%, they're very powerful people, and they know how to control the narratives and know how to control of what's going on. So with that said, I'm not going to sit here and talk about myself and what happened with me and all the craziness with the surgery. And it wasn't too bad. The surgery was okay. It went well. Like I said, I had hard time talking, hard time for a while. I needed to rest my throat. And we decided to go ahead and take this trip over to upstate New York, and it was such a great idea and such a magical experience, especially Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is such a beautiful area. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I have posted videos of beautiful waterfalls from there, and you get to see Rainbow Falls, and you can hear the music I put in for those videos is Enigma. Great music, great song. Um, just when you get an opportunity, just go ahead and check it out for yourself. But I am going to get into the news, and I'm going to catch up on a couple of things. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10 stories up, 10 actually videos to watch. So we're going to just jump right into it. I'm not going to try to be on here for too long. I'm still recovering from my throat. And I feel like if you hear me pause like that, it's just gonna take in a moment because it's hard for me to talk like a lot, especially consecutive like flow, like a even flow. It's hard for me to do that. It's gonna take me some time to get adjusted. With that said, let's go on to the first video here from Jason A. I do got some Jason A. I got some Tyson De La Cruz that I got to follow up on. I got 2 stories to bring up on him. I got some from Fox News. I got some Benny Johnson for us. We got some Live Now Fox. We got a couple of things even from WSVN. Let me see. No, this is who is this? I got a story from Florida, from Miami. So you got Fox News, Jesse Waters, Primetime, and the Faulkner Focus. So first we're going to start off with Jason A, and then we'll watch, and then we'll talk about it right after this.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. Wow. I'd be fine.
Breaking news we brought you off the top. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassifying documents that show a, quote, treasonous conspiracy at the highest levels of the Obama administration to manufacture a narrative that Russia was trying to influence the 2016 presidential election. DNI Director Gabbard is saying today there was a treasonous conspiracy in 2016 committed by officials at the highest level of our government. We'll continue to break down the bombshell as it develops.
There's a lot of Obama people in the White House. And a lot of us think that this is really the third term of Barack Obama, that he's behind the scenes, he's pulling the strings, and that Joe Biden is just, there. And so this is just another example of it. We can see what's going on. The American people can see what's going on. And they're desperate now to try to hide what's really going on with Joe Biden.
Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, has basically broken the seal on a whole lot of documents that allege that Barack Obama and his White House and his FBI directors and CIA directors all conspired to create the Russiagate hoax after Hillary was defeated, but before Donald Trump was inaugurated, in an effort to basically break his presidency and run a slow-motion coup. Michael Kroger, are you surprised by these revelations? And what does it tell you about the so-called deep state?
She's referring these declassified documents to the Justice Department. She argues the intelligence community under the Obama administration changed their tune regarding Russian interference in the 2016 election. And Gabbard points to this material in which intelligence officials state Russia is probably not trying nor have the capability to influence the election by using cyber means. A draft presidential daily briefing shared among officials on December 8th, 2016 says Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. The next day, the Obama White House gathered top cabinet officials for a National Security Council Principals Committee meeting. These included former DNI James Clapper, John Brennan, and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. After that meeting, Gabbard says there were leaks alleging that Russia intervened in the election to help President Trump.
President Obama and his team, he directed a manufactured piece of intelligence that detailed not if, but how Russia tried to influence the outcome of the United States election that President Trump won in November of 2016. This document was then used as the foundation for everything that came next.
Gabbard says what happened next was a years-long coup against President Trump. But Democrats are calling Gabbard's accusations baseless. They point to a report released by the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee in 2020. Democratic Senator Mark Warner says the findings reaffirmed that the Russian government directed extensive activity against U.S. election infrastructure ahead of the 2016 election, and that it used social media to conduct an information warfare campaign in order to benefit Donald Trump. The report, though, concluded there was no evidence any votes were changed or that voting machines were manipulated.
Wherein they changed the narrative of Russia's involvement in our election.
Well, it's extremely disturbing at every level. And the fact is, President Obama needs to answer for this immediately. There needs to be a very clear and unequivocal answer to how this happened and why exactly his administration, in concert with the intelligence community, was changing reports to make it appear as though that Russia interfered in our elections and to further this entire scam that has been perpetrated on the American people to undermine his successor, President Trump. It is just fundamentally wrong. And everything that the American people have seen over the last decade Since Donald Trump came onto the national political scene, it has been one event after the next in which Democrats and the intelligence community and the Department of Justice, institutions that are supposed to uphold our democracy, have frankly sought to undermine it at every turn.
And to some extent, I think for many of the audience listening, it is not maybe a revelation they haven't thought, heard, or researched on their own before.
People in government were obviously working to try and build some kind of narrative that Trump was an illegitimate president who was elected in 2016 because he had help from the Russians, and the whole, Russia affair took off from there. So am I surprised that people in the Obama administration were somehow behind the scenes trying to put something like this together? No, I'm not surprised. And it will be absolutely fascinating to see what these documents reveal, James.
Absolutely right. Hey, Lee Hansen, before we go, are you surprised by any of this? And are you surprised particularly by the fact that the left, which always claims to be the ones who are standing up for our democracy, may very well have interfered in democratic processes like this in supposedly the greatest democracy in the world, the United States?
No. Look, I remember my grandfather once said to me, said to my mother actually, when she was getting into politics, why would you? It's a dirty game. It has always been a dirty game. It's below the belt tactics that is used continuously throughout the world in politics. So are we surprised? No. More will be revealed over time. It'll be interesting to see what unfolds over this. It's mudslinging, and obviously it just goes to show that, well, who can you trust at the end of the day? And never always believe what you see or hear in the media, because the media do play a huge part in this as what has led to it as well.
President Obama says he could have done what Hillary Clinton did not, beat Donald Trump in the election and win a third term. But the president-elect, though, taking to Twitter to answer, basically saying, what? Really? No way. Good morning, everyone. I'm Eric Shawn in for Bill Hemmer this morning. We are live in America's newsroom.
And I'm Patty Ann Brown in for Martha McCallum. So President Obama granting one of the final interviews of his presidency to a former top advisor, David Axelrod. Mr. Obama saying he believes the country supports his vision of progressive change and that he could have won if he had been allowed to run again. Listen.
I'm confident that if I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it. I know that in conversations that I've had with people around the country, even some people who disagreed with me, they would say the vision, the direction that you point towards is the right one.
And Peter Ducey is covering the president-elect Trump, who is at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. So, Peter, how is Mr. Trump responding to the president's pretty boastful claims this morning?
Eric, he doesn't think much of President Obama as a political scientist. So the president-elect took to his Twitter handle to say this. President Obama said that he thinks he would have won against me. He should say that, but I say no way. Jobs leaving, ISIS, care, etc. And the president-elect is also now turning part of President Obama's famous slogan about hope and change against him to make a comment about the country he's about to inherit. So in another tweet, Mr. Trump says this: the world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope. Now the market is up nearly 10%, and Christmas spending is over $1 trillion. The statements from the outgoing president and the incoming president show that their relationship has really evolved or devolved, because even though the two targeted each other on the campaign trail for months, 2 days after the election, they had that friendly Oval Office meeting where President Obama promised to help make the transition to White House life as easy as possible for the Trumps. The two men then began regularly talking on the phone. But something changed, because a few days ago, as Trump continued to get a lot more attention than President Obama for moves that he was making, the Obama administration's Deputy National Security Advisor, Ben Rhodes, said there's just one president at a time. And now President Obama is suggesting he thinks that one president at a time should be him for another 4 years. Eric?
That's wild. Obama, he's going to be seeing some... I don't know. I see his future not so bright. I feel like he's the sacrificial lamb, and they're gonna run him down to the ground. There's so much that he has done to this country and manipulated this country and did nothing progressive for this country. It's wild, but it is what it is, and that's what we have. Hey, Albie, and hey, Chloe, how you guys doing? Hope you guys having a good night. And I hope you had a great day. For me, it's been okay. It is what it is. We're gonna get through some of this Obama crap, and I could see him getting into a really deep issue. He's gonna have to hire some really good attorneys, which most likely he is going to. Will he see jail? Will Obama see jail? To be honest with you, I don't think so. Everyone hopes so, because we want to bring and make accountability great again. The true MAGA is make accountability great again. That's what we need to start with, and why not start off with Obama and make him accountable? I mean, it's he's such a failure, man. He's such the hope that he had, the dream for this country, and did nothing but put us and set us back, and put us in a position that we were just being controlled and manipulated. That's all it is. It's about manipulation and all about control. And he suckered in a lot of people. A lot of people fell for it, and you know now he's gonna pay for it. Because he is going to get in trouble, and not only him, but there's a lot of people within that system of the Democratic Party, like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And our country was not in a good position then, and right now we're trying to fix it, but it's something that it's a broken record because we keep repeating ourselves over and over and over again, like we're doing anything to progress this country, and in reality, it's still the same shit. But let's go ahead to the next story and let's see what's up with Benny Johnson. Let's go next with Benny Johnson. I want to see what he has to say.
General, your name is mentioned in these documents. You've been on our program for years. You've been writing books. You've been crying out from the wilderness about what they did to you.
Hey,
what a remarkable moment. And the floor is...
We'll put Benny on a second. Yeah, Chloe, thank you for checking it out. Yeah, check out the videos. Check out the shorts. I'm putting out a couple of shorts at a time, and you guys could comment on it, leave a like, do all that stuff, subscribe. That's the best. My subscription count is going up, so there are people subscribing and there are people that are liking what I'm doing. So the more we could get the channel out, the more people can see and also subscribe, and truly appreciate it. I took a lot of videos. I still got a lot to put up. Oh my goodness, I have so much to put up, but with time and patience, I'll be able to get it done. It's not going to be all at once, but you guys will be able to see it. All right, let's continue with Benny.
Yours. The landscape has been set. General, what do you see happening next?
Yeah, well, a couple of things. I have made this recommendation that I think that all of these people that are involved, starting with Obama on down, they all ought to have their passports revoked. And people need to be checking private airplanes and private airfields for anybody trying to abscond the country and get the heck out of Dodge here. So that's number one. I do think that just as was done to President Trump when they raided his home at Mar-a-Lago, because they thought that and they planted evidence there in that case. But I do think that what the DOJ should be considering, if not getting ready to conduct, is a raid of Barack Obama's home up there at Kalorama in Washington, D.C., where he's been since he physically left the White House. He's been running the White House, all during the Biden regime. And I do think that there's some other places that need to be raided where there are likely,
Martha
a lot of
Vineyard.
evidence, a lot of receipts, so to speak, in many of these people that are part of the Obama White House as well as the Biden White House. I mean, I just heard the great David Schoen talking about the former Deputy Attorney General of Monaco, who also was the Homeland Security Advisor to Barack Obama. So that's number one. Those are things that need to be considered right now. And I was ready to wake up this morning to hear about some of these raids that should have been going on. There should, as a minimum, be a task force assembled by of federal law enforcement authorities, as well as a assigned, dedicated, prosecutor at the DOJ level, at the Attorney General level, someone who is working directly for her and for the President of the United States. This has got to happen very quickly. The other thing that I want people to remind people to look back upon, because part of my problem was Mike Pence. Mike Pence, former Vice President Mike Pence, and a couple of questions that I asked
Mike Pence.
you, I think, over the last couple of days, Benny, that we need to remind ourselves during those first 2 years of Trump 45. We had the Republican, majority in the House, Speaker Ryan, and in the Senate, President McConnell, right? I mean, the president of the Senate. Mm-hmm. So those two also sat on what's called the Gang of Eight, which is a group of 8 people inside of the Congress that get evidence on, get intelligence briefings on every single thing that's going on in the country. So my assumption at this point in time, I don't know for a fact, but I got to believe because what Devin Nunes did in the March-April timeframe of 2017 was he came forward to the White House and said, "Hey, this is all fake. This is all fake." And Devin was then sidelined by Speaker Ryan from the House Select Committee on Intelligence. He was the chairman at the time. So there's some GOP dirt here that has got to be looked at, because the American people have lost so much trust in all of the institutions of government. One of the things that Barack Obama did, he didn't just weaponize intelligence and weaponize the justice system. He weaponized the entirety of the government. And then he went in and weaponized elements of other institutions, like the education system in the country, like the healthcare system in the country. There's parts of our government that run those things. But then what they did was they just enabled all of these capabilities within our country to be weaponized. And he did it for 8 years. And as I said the other day, in a post I put out, the deep state plan was really 8 years of Obama, 8 years of Hillary. Mm-hmm. And the strategy was if Hillary didn't win, as we know what Peter Strzok and his lover Lisa Page talked about when they talked about, we have an insurance plan if he wins, right? Well, the insurance plan was kicked in, and Peter Strzok is part of this. And I venture to say that there's going to be some people inside that are going to be that they are going to feel the pressure of going to prison, and when they do, they'll start to sing, like they say, right, in the movies. They're going to sing. And so I do believe that we have two things here, two big lines. One is, of course, what Tulsi Gabbard just exposed to the world and to the American people, which is the greatest crime in the history of the United States of America. Absolutely the greatest crime, a crime so bad that the majority of Americans, in many cases, still can't believe it, that a coup would actually occur here in the United States of America by one president against another president. But that's, in fact, what we now are facing. Looking back, this other line is, what was the responsibilities of the GOP to do anything? A GOP, by the way, that was in the majority while President Trump was going through the initial stages and the selection of Mueller as an investigator to investigate this thing. You were just talking about Andrew Weissman, who everybody knows is somebody who cannot be trusted. This guy has ruined the justice system in America because of his own behavior from past cases that he was involved in. So this is by far the greatest crime committed in the history of the United States of America. Thank God, a former Democrat, now director of national intelligence, someone who saw the light, had the guts and the courage and the commitment to work really hard. And she took a bruising beating, Benny, as you know, in the media over the last 6 months. I mean, there was so much negativity about Tulsi Gabbard this and Tulsi Gabbard that. And what did Tulsi do? She quietly performed. And she has now exposed the greatest crime in the history of the United States of America. And now we've got to make this thing, we've got to make it right for the American people.
General, I know that you're at the airport, and I deeply appreciate your time on this program. And so hopefully we have time for a follow-up or two. Yeah. I'll get to them very quickly. Here's your name in the actual documents. This is James Comey saying that he put a mark on you and that he's planning on trying to corner you and to rip you away from President Trump and to destroy you at the National Security Council. He's also admitted to this on camera. There's a separate moment where James Comey was asked about this, and he said so. If we could just play it muted, but he basically, we don't have the time to play it. He basically says, yes, I attacked Flynn because there weren't enough protections of the new administration. I was taking advantage of a nascent Trump administration. Exactly. Now, what's your commentary on this now that it's all the guts have been ripped out and the black and white is out in the open?
Yeah, that man right there needs to go to prison. And there's a couple of others around him that were part of this coup, this attempted coup against the United States of America. We cannot have this happen in our country again. And the only way, Benny, the only way that we will not allow this to happen again for many, many years, maybe 100 years, is by holding these people accountable. And the guy that your audience is looking at right there, they call him the Cardinal, James Comey, former director of the FBI, totally disgraced himself, but he participated in what is essentially the greatest crime in the history of the United States of America. So these people have got to be held to account. People are going to expect movement very quickly by this administration, by the Trump administration. We don't need years worth of investigations. All the evidence is right there. And thank God for Tulsi Gabbard.
Final question, General. Since you're a military man, you rose to the highest conceivable ranks within the military and within the civilian structure in the White House. Your credentials are impeccable. When Stephen Miller calls this a seditious conspiracy, when Tulsi Gabbard calls it a traitorous act, treason against our country, those seem like legal terms, but also really military terms. And since Barack Obama was the commander in chief, what angle would it be to go at this from a military perspective? Perhaps you could explain, what does treason and seditious conspiracy mean from a military perspective? Would you advise them to go after them on those terms?
I would. I absolutely would. I would advise them to go after on those terms and make sure that they have them locked in tight in terms of the legalities. But what I want people to understand is, after World War II, we had the Nuremberg trials, and there was a lot of people that were found guilty, and because they stood at when they got on the stand, they said, "Well, I was just following orders." Well, Jim Clapper, John Brennan, Jim Comey, Susan Rice, Sally Yates, and many others, Lisa Monaco, many others. You're not going to get away with it. If Barack Obama directed you, and it appears that he did, this is very intentional. This 8 December 2016 meeting that they had, where it looks like, which was something that was not on my radar, Benny. So this is a new piece of evidence that Tulsi has exposed. That, to me, in addition to some of the other critical criminal evidence that has been discovered, I think that they're going to have to look at conspiracy, treason, traitorous activities by some of these people, and particularly starting at the very top, and that would be Barack Obama. They were ready to
what you said. Oh my God,
Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life, Benny, and so all bets are off when it comes to immunity. There's no immunity for this president, not President Obama, for what he did. So,
could you have a military there? Could you have a military tribunal for the commander in chief?
I don't know, but it ought to be explored. It should be explored.
General Flynn, who has been so right on this, who has fought and actually accept.
I want to read his
Flynn
book.
Absorbed the first arrows in this attack, actually, and was the first victim, frankly, of all of this. And it must be a profound moment. Everyone follow General Flynn. I know he has a flight to catch, but any parting thoughts? And here, by the way, is Pardon of Innocence, if you wish to read the full story. But any parting thoughts?
Read that book.
Yeah, and I think everybody just needs
Pardon
to stay
and
focused. You know,
it's very story of
support President Trump,
and freedom,
and you know,
the faith and
and
freedom,
we've got to make sure that we
story of faith and
demand
freedom.
accountability from the government that is supposed to serve us. Right? It doesn't serve itself; it serves us. So that's really where I'm at.
Yes. Godspeed, General, and we look forward to having you on regularly to talk through this with our audience.
Absolutely.
Godspeed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben.
So pause that there. I want to take it back a few seconds here. Just want to see something here. So it is on Amazon. It is on audio. So yeah, it is. I could actually probably get this book for sure on Amazon. I gotta check it out on my on my Amazon account if I could get it, which I can. I want to look into it and listen or read what he put on that book. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be juicy. It's always juicy. It seems like Jason A put another video here, so let me set this up real quick and for us to watch.
More than 1,000.
Give me 1 second here. There we go. All right, everything's all set up. Let's go.
Cadets graduated from West Point today, and their commencement speaker was their commander-in-chief, President Barack Obama.
And despite I'm not a fan of Obama. You guys know me for a long time. I'm just not a fan of him. He's a poser, most likely a sheep in wolf's clothing. You know, well, the other way around. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing, but it could go either or with him because he plays both sides, and he's just a well-spoken individual that's been really trained well, and the fact that he's being exposed for what he is a fraud. It's incredible. I do have some medicine here rolled up and ready to go. Smells good. So give it a thumbs up, and I'm gonna light this one up, and we're gonna continue on that Jason A story in a moment because Obama. Goodness gracious! I wish people could take in what's really going on here, and I hope people could pay attention and come to a conclusion that you've been duped, and a lot of Democrats have been duped and played and used and abused, and it's going to continue to go on and on and on until you self-reflect and tell yourself what the fuck is going on. Let's see what's happening here on Jason A.
The president's warning about a long, dangerous road ahead in the war on terror, they remain steadfast in their desire to serve. This, as the president pledged to shape, quote, a new international order. Brian Moore is in D.C. with details.
Addressing the graduating cadets at West Point, President Obama called for a new U.S. role on the world stage.
So we have to shape an international order that can meet the challenges of our generation.
The speech comes a few days before the president lays out his first national security strategy. He seemed to be dismissing the doctrine of President George W. Bush, while echoing a phrase made famous by the first President Bush.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
The international order we seek is one that can resolve the challenges of our times.
Not just challenges like the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan or the smoldering economic crisis in Europe.
As influence extends to more countries and capitals, we also have to build new partnerships and shape stronger international standards and institutions.
Familiar words foreshadowing a new worldview, certain to stir plenty of debate here at home. The speech also had a mission accomplished moment. President Obama says U.S. combat duties in Iraq are expected to wrap up this summer.
Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in a new world order, saying he was speaking as a proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world. Well, Senator Obama's tackled America's place in the world at several points in his speech, acknowledging recent splits between the U.S. and the rest of the international community.
presidency.
Yes, there have been differences between America and Europe. No doubt there will be differences in the future. But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. A change of leadership in Washington will not lift this burden. In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity. That is why the greatest danger of all is to allow new walls to divide us from one another. The walls between old allies on either side of the Atlantic cannot stand. The walls between the countries with the most and those with the least cannot stand. The walls between races and tribes, natives and immigrants, Christians and Muslims and Jews cannot stand. These now are the walls we must tear down.
He's a good speechwriter.
Good
He's
morning,
a
Harry.
good
Well, there is a bit of a morning
good,
after
and he
feeling
delivered.
here in Berlin after what they're calling the Obama show. But if the intent of this trip was to raise Barack Obama's foreign profile, it could hardly have been raised any higher. Barack Obama had two objectives on this, the most public leg of his overseas trip: to demonstrate he could perform on a grand world stage, and to show that his hands across the water approach to major issues could work. The stage could not have been bigger. The 200,000 plus crowd confirmed his rock star status, and his more cooperative sounding rhetoric was what the crowd wanted to hear.
True partnership and true progress requires constant work and sustained sacrifice. They require sharing the burdens of development and diplomacy, of peace and progress. They require allies who will listen to each other, learn from each other, and most of all, trust each other.
That's all he knows how. Okay, I'm just Obama makes me sick. He really does. He's just full of shit. The way he delivers, how he speak, and how he the words, and he takes his time with them, and he's just trying to land every word, and looks around and try to commend everyone that he knows what he's doing, but in reality, he's just a big puppet. He's just a puppet that loves control. The deep state loves him because he's very controllable, and people will follow him and listen to him, and because they're inspired by him and by the way he speaks. I mean, remember, when a leader speaks, the reflection lies, and he is no different. Like the poster child, Obama, he's a fraud. That's all he was ever. And the fact that the Democrats played the Democratic Party and not only the party but their constituents makes everyone look very foolish right about now. And it's a bad feeling, and I feel bad for the Democrats, because they're people too. We're all people. I don't understand why parties have to divide us as individuals, as people. We're all Americans. The last time I checked, it said United States of America and not divided by a Democratic Republic State of America. It doesn't say that. It says united. So why are we so divided? And why the Democrats are a little bit crazy. It's just, we got crazy Republicans too. Don't get it twisted. We got a lot of crazy Republicans. Shit. Too crazy. But the Democrats, it's like, I feel like they're like a lost puppy, right? Like a little lost dog in the woods. And they're trying to find their way and try to survive. And they figured out a way. And the way is manipulating people's minds. easy, you know, that you are all part of a test. In reality, it's a horrible test. How did they get to you, and how did they get to your feelings, and how did they get to your minds? It's very easy. Right here. What you're watching me through, this is how they got to you guys. They use technology, they use YouTube, they use Facebook and all these apps like TikTok and whatever, all you want to Snapchat and whatever. There's a lot of them out there. Okay. And that's how they manipulate your minds. You know, Project Blue Beam never ended. People talk about it. People are like, about it. Project Blue Beam never ended. Pure example. You guys are being fooled. And you're falling for it. Humanity is falling for it. Look what's going on with humanity as it is every day. I'm just a realist. You know, I'm seeing what I see, and I report how I feel. And I tell you right now, it's not good. I went to upstate New York this past weekend. Actually, I was there for, when did I get there? It was Thursday. Yeah, I was there for 4 days, actually. Because I got there Thursday and I came back home on Sunday. And in those days, I was in Rochester, New York. This is my opinion. This is just sharing how I feel, reporting of how I feel, energy wise. My feelings towards the Democratic Party have grown even more stronger. I feel horrible for those who vote Democrats. I was very disappointed in The Walking Dead that I was witnessing in Rochester, New York. Last time I checked, they were part of the United States of America. But what I saw there and what I experienced there, it's horrible. It's beyond disturbing. And the fact that the police don't do anything about it just really tells me, and it's as clear as day, that New York is fucked. You guys are fucked. You guys are not progressing at all. You guys are turning into the Night of the Living Dead and the Day of the Living Dead put together. That's Rochester, New York. So many people that I saw prostituting. So many people that were overdosing on fentanyl on the streets of New York. I never in my life seen so many people bent over and doing the Thriller dance. I couldn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes. And I said in Spanish. And I said it to, because I was staying with my partner's cousin's house and her daughter, and I said in Spanish, "Esta es la calle de los doblados," and everyone started laughing, right? But in serious, I was being really serious. I said, "Esta es la calle de los doblados." If you don't know what that means in Spanish, I'll translate it in English. This is the street of the bended people. Like they're bent over. This is the bent over street. The bent over street. Because the amount of people that I saw overdosed and bent over, reaching for the ground instead of reaching for the sky, was very disturbing. Train of truth is here. Very disturbing. The Democrats, They don't have you people of Rochester and throughout New York. They don't have the best for you. They're not providing the best. They I if I was the president of the United States and I drove by Rochester, New York, and seen what I seen, I will call for the resignation of the governor of New York, the mayors that run the cities of New York. I will call for all their resignation at once, right now. New York has turned into the living dead. It has such great opportunity. I had such a great time when I was staying with family and having the like the cookouts. We're smoking. We're all chilling out. We're by the fire, getting nice and warm, and because it was cool at night. Like the temperature dropped into like the 60s, low 60s, like 60, 69. No, 60, no, not 69. It was 59. It got really cool. And in that world, in that backyard, I have video. I was at peace. I was at peace, and I was like, I felt tranquil. I felt good. But as soon as I left and I went down the block and I made a left turn, all I saw was prostitutes, Johns all over the place. Um, the like, I how is this allowed? How is Rochester letting that happen? Like having all these bent over people overdosed. You know they're overdosing. They need help. No police to help them. No police or emergency personnel coming to help these people or grab them and take them to the hospital. Nope, you don't see that. What I did see was police pull over a car. I guess there were some individuals in the car, and they pulled over this car, and they were there for about like an hour or so, and then they were released onto like they were told to go. So and nothing happened. But these police, what are they truly doing there? Like, if I was the mayor of Rochester, that was probably the first thing that I would go after, is to eliminate these prostitutes and Johns out there that you could tell that they're doing drugs, they're on drugs, and they look very sick. A lot of them look like they have HIV/AIDS. That's how crazy it looked. You could tell that they were sick with HIV or maybe like full blown AIDS. I was disappointed in that because like the homes where the people live and their backyards, it was so peaceful. It was so good, and we had such a great time. But as soon as you just get out there and you're going through the city and you're witnessing like the Laos, oh my god, I feel so bad. I'm disappointed. And if I was mayor of Rochester, I would definitely fix that problem. And that problem is fentanyl. The problem is prostitution. The problem is you got to clean the streets up. And the streets are like, I couldn't believe for the first time ever, I had a like boys in the hood type of experience, right? We were in the car, we were driving, and this is broad daylight. This is like what, 12, 1 in the afternoon. Like, no, this was earlier. This was like what, 8, 10, 11, around 11ish. We were going to to the we were going to Walmart actually, and as I was driving, there was these people on the street, and there were like 6 people on the street. I was like, these motherfuckers come to my car, I'm gonna run them over. I don't stop. No, if you're gonna come at my car and you're gonna come aggressively, well, I'm gonna come at you aggressively, and I will run your ass over and answer questions later. That's fine with me. But they were playing dice in the middle of the street. They were gambling in the middle of the street. They were all holding money, big money, on their hands, and they were playing dice in the middle of the street. Okay, so I had a boys in the hood experience. That was okay, but the zombies that come out at night, that was disturbing. That was so disturbing. I didn't even want to record it. I didn't even record it. I didn't record it. I don't even want that negative energy nowhere near my devices or even capturing it. I don't want it. Don't need it. But the people that were bent over, and you could tell that it was fentanyl overdose, and the police doing nothing, is a big disappointment. Big disappointment. And it's because of the Democratic run system. I'm sorry. That system does not work. Democratic systems do not work. Look at your surroundings. You know, if you have a good surroundings and you feel safe and you feel like everything's like comfortable, then you got a good system going on there. But if you go out your house and you just go down the block and make a left and you see nothing but prostitutes and individuals ODing on fentanyl and they're bent over, that is a very big problem. A very big problem. And I did not feel safe there at night. Like driving through there, I did not feel safe. Was I scared? No. Did I feel safe? No. And I kept my distance. And if everyone was to come to my car, I swear I will run your ass over. I answer questions later. That's all it is. You know, I'm gonna protect myself first and answer questions later. And that's how it should be for everyone. You know, but I'm very disappointed in Rochester because Rochester is such a beautiful place, man. Such a beautiful place. Poorly run. You could tell that their mayor fucking sucks. You could tell Hochul, the governor of fucking New York, fucking sucks. Like, let's go back to the Obama stuff because that was just the most negative part of my trip. That was it. The disappointment that I was of seeing all these prostitutes, like it was disgusting. There was so many. Like I've seen prostitutes before. I mean, I've seen them like a lot before, and I seen them a lot in New York, like New York City. I seen a lot in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Oh my god, they will run to your car like roaches, and they will come like six at a time, so they could check out which one is the best to take home with them to Fluffy Bump. But Rochester, oh, dude, disgusting. The supermarket on the other side, on the once you make that right turn from, instead of going left, going right and going off maybe like 3 miles north, you have a Wegmans, which is a grocery store. Oh my god, that grocery store was the bomb. Oh my god, I love that grocery store. That grocery store was so huge, and has so much to select from. Oh man, the what I love about Wigmans, because I'm giving you my, this is like my this is my confessions. I'm not Usher, but this is my confessions. um that store is awesome. That store is huge. Their cheesecakes, well, shortcakes. Cheesecakes, I'm sure they have delicious cheesecakes. But their shortcake, that cake was so delicious with the strawberries. Oh my god, I love strawberry shortcake. It's like, it's amazing. It's beautifully amazing. I also saw like their sandwich making station, and I was like, holy shit, that's 10 times bigger than fucking Subway. The thing looked, it was like, okay, you know how Subway sandwich is like this, and it's like very little sandwich, and they say 12-inch. In reality, it's like, let's be real. They're like, size matters. Yeah, it does. In certain things, it does matter. Because if you have a 12-incher, you'll know, and it makes a difference if it was a 10 or 12. Okay, as a matter of 2 inches, it matters. Um, but their sandwich there was like a football. That thing looked like, man, I could throw a pass with that sandwich, and it looked so good. I didn't eat it because I had other plans, and I had a birthday party, and there was already food and stuff. So no sandwich for me from Wickman's, but holy smokes, that sandwich was big. And then the like, they had a sushi area, and they had like the produce. Oh my god, the produce was heaven. The fruits and everything, and the, like, it was, everything was so nice. And the fact that they're opening one in Connecticut, I just found out today, they're opening the first Wigmans in Connecticut, in Norwalk, Connecticut. And I'm like, motherfucker. Norwalk is so far from me. And you're like, how far is it from you, Rick? That's about a 40 fucking minute drive. about 45 minute drive to Norwalk. Their first day of operation is this Wednesday at 9 in the morning. They're having a grand opening in Norwalk. Will I be there? Man, I would love to. I really like the store. I wish they would open more. I wish they would open one in where I live, out here, closer at least to where I live. I would definitely go shopping there. I would abandon my grocery store that I go to now, which is Stop and Shop, in a heartbeat. I would stop going there and say, fuck y'all, I'm out. I'm going to Wigman's, just because everything you need is right there, and it's freaking, I love like a place that can just sweep my feet, and you can find everything you need, and everything's good price. The quality is delicious. The customer service is very good. I know the company is family owned, so I'm really hoping that that family decides to open a couple of more stores here in Connecticut. I mean, we got the first one. That's great. That's a great start. We need more. Oh boy, let's see here. 7. Oh, you got a new account. Awesome, dude. How you been? I hope you're doing good, man. I'm just going off on a rant here about Rochester and talking about my experience at Wickman's. And I'm happy that they're opening one here in Connecticut, in Norwalk, Connecticut. So congratulations, Norwalk. But why Norwalk? Why not a little bit more central of Connecticut, and more west, like east and western? Because now they went to the west side. So it's the west side of Connecticut, it's the southwest side. It's closer to New York. So I understand, okay, they did it there because they could get people to travel from New York to Norwalk, and people from Connecticut to go there. And I understand it's a financial thing, but bring it a little bit more up towards the central part of Connecticut, and there, and we're talking. I definitely would dump Stop and Shop in a heartbeat, just because. Man, this place is awesome. I never felt so wild for a grocery like a supermarket before. I mean, who gets excited about like grocery stores, right? I do. Especially when it's huge and they have everything, and like if you're picky, like you're a picky person, like sometimes I am picky on what I eat and stuff, and if they're making the sushi fresh and they're making the sandwiches fresh, everything's all freshness, cakes and cupcakes and everything that you could think of, it's all in one place, and it's a huge place. And one thing that I love, there was a cashier in almost every aisle, like in every, you know how they have their cashier stands, and every, they had like, I forgot how many numbers they had, but in every one they had a cashier. And they always ask, hey, how was your experience at Wickman's? I'm like, heaven. It's like, how was my experience? That's I have one word, heaven. It was so heavenly. It was so everything I needed, I got it. It was so cool. I like it. But we're gonna go back to this crazy Obama story. But Seven, I hope you're doing good. And I hope your wife is doing good too. I haven't seen her around since I came back, but I'm back. I've been back for a while. I had surgery last week for some biopsy of some stuff that I have in my neck and in my throat. So it is what it is, and it's some health issues. And you know, I haven't gotten the results yet, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm gonna be positive and just move forward. And you know, when it's my time, is my time, right? So until it's that time, I'm moving forward. But let's go ahead and continue with this abomination. I'll call it, because he is an abomination. So this guy is so sick.
This was a speech about tone, not specifics, but mostly it was about showing up and being seen.
We watch these images over the last 24 hours, 200,000 people out there. He's giving a speech to the people there.
No, he's not.
He's not giving a speech to the 200,000. No. Who's he speaking to?
He's speaking to the American voter. And I think what he's trying to say, one of the messages that I heard was, look, I'm not some woolly-headed liberal lefty that thinks we should all sing Kumbaya together. I'm here to tell them that we need international cooperation to beat the terrorists, to beat the extremists, to win the war in Afghanistan. The other thing I think is there's always a danger if the Democrat is seen as Europe's candidate, which happens to be what the National Review, a conservative magazine, put in its website yesterday.
Yes.
You know, he's a brie-eating,
No way,
Chablis
Seven.
sipping, snail-eating elitist, not like us guys.
That
That's
sounds
always
so
the danger.
funny.
I do think that after 4 years of the war, an American being
Especially
shooting
Johnny
was probably
Cash.
not politically harmful.
And for the international order that we have worked for generations to build. Throughout human history, societies have grappled with fundamental questions of how to organize themselves, the proper relationship between the individual and the state, the best means to resolve inevitable conflicts between states.
Oh, you did a new channel.
And it was here in Europe.
Okay.
Centuries
No
of
wonder I
struggle,
wasn't getting
through
any
war
information
and
from you. I was like, what the?
repression,
Oh, so you did a whole new
and
channel.
revolution.
That's cool.
Here in Europe and around the world.
Oh, a lot of
Those
AI
ideals
stuff.
have
I see.
often been threatened by an older, more traditional view of power. This alternative vision argues that
This is what you
ordinary
did
men and
while I
women
was away?
are too
'Cause I see
small-minded to
it's like
govern their own
9
affairs.
months back. I
That
took a year
order
off
and
of
progress
YouTube
can only come when individuals surrender their rights
to take
to
care
an
of my health.
all-powerful sovereign. These challenges come at a time when the international order has already been reshaped for a new century. Countries like China, India, and Brazil are growing by leaps and bounds. We should welcome this development, for it has lifted hundreds of
a lot of good
millions
stuff
from
here, the
poverty
AI
around the globe
stuff.
and
I
created
gotta
new
check it out
markets and
later.
opportunities for our own nations. And yet, as this rapid change has taken place, it's become fashionable in some quarters to question whether the rise of these nations will accompany the decline of American and European influence around the world. Perhaps, the argument goes, these nations represent the future.
Okay.
And the time for our leadership
You gotta put it up
has
on
passed.
YouTube. I want to check it out. It looks interesting.
That argument is wrong. The time for our leadership is now. It was the United States and the United Kingdom and our democratic allies that shaped a world in which new nations could emerge and individuals could thrive. And even as more nations take on the responsibilities of global leadership,
He looks like
our
fucking
alliance
AI.
will
Like he
remain
looks like a
indispensable
robot.
to the
You see how he
goal of
moves
a
his
century
head,
that is more
his
peaceful,
eyes.
more prosperous.
Look how he moves his eyes. Like that. This is from Jason A. Thank you, Jason. That is like pretty cool. But let's go back and break this clown down. Look at the movements. Look at like I'm gonna play it, but I'm just not gonna play the volume on here. Like look how many times he moves his head left and right, and he's like all over the place. Can I get a better quality picture? Why is the quality so low? Hold on, let me bring this up. You can't even bring it up. Like what the hell's going on? Let me see if I can even go higher. Damn, even the 10 this is not a good quality. I'm in 1080p. Can I get a premium? Not even. But he does not look right, man. Something screams like something's not right with this guy. Filmmaking over the past year. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm glad you got into that. I love photography. I love like capturing the moment. I'm very good at capturing moments. I have an eye for certain like especially photography. I have an eye on like vision pictures, and then I just like snap pictures and at the moment, and video too. And it's all takes patience. That's the key, like patience. If you want to be good at something, it takes practice and lots of practice and lots of patience. You can't expect to be at a snap. It's not going to happen. It takes trial and error to progress and get good at something. But some of my videos that I put up my shorts, put up my videos up my shorts. That sounds so weird to even say it, because I'm like, who's putting what up on my shorts? Like, don't put nothing in my shorts. Just look in my shorts. So weird to say that, right? What a word. I don't think they should have used shorts. It's just too, it doesn't sound right. When I'm telling people, look in my shorts, it doesn't sound right. It's very troubling for me. But I did put out, a couple of cool videos. The Firefly, the one that's on the bench, that video, and I have witnesses because they were looking at me, capturing the fireflies in the backyard. I love fireflies. Oh my goodness, they are so magical, and I have so many videos that I took of them. But this one firefly, I was recording, right, and I was like, damn, I'm not having luck in getting like really good video. I just need one real good video. And it happened where I was looking at the bench, right? All of a sudden, I saw a flash on the bench, on the seat of the bench. And I go, let me see if I could record him and see if he stays there and flashes again, right? So I start recording. So when I start recording, you can see when I start recording, and he's moving around, and it's not good quality picture, especially not on YouTube. I don't know why in YouTube the quality is not good. On my phone, you see the quality, you're like, wow. But YouTube, crap. You follow this little thing that's moving around. It looks like it's a bug, it's moving around all over the place. And then it gets to this one part at the edge of the seat, and then give it a few seconds, and then it lights up like this beautiful flash, and then it goes down, and then at the end of the video, well, the video cuts off because I did a 1 minute video, but literally right after I finished that video, it flew away. And I said thank you so many times to that Firefly. I was like, thank you. I was so appreciative. I was like, thank you so much. I waited. I was very patient, and I got the video that I wanted, and I put it up, right? And I put it up with the song. And it matches with the song. It blends in with the song. And I'm like, whoa. And I've been pretty much on my videos, on my shorts, I've been blending the songs in pretty well with what the video, is showing. And I think that was one of my highlights of the trip, was the fireflies. And it was so cool, right? Because we're sitting all together. I think this was on Thursday night. We were sitting together, right? We were just hanging out, and I saw this light that went from left to right. It went like a check, like it went something like that. And I was like, I'm not going crazy, but I saw a light flash. Like, oh, you saw a light flash? I go, yeah, I saw a light. I mean, I'm not like, there's something, what's going on here. So then I didn't know that they had that they had the fireflies active there in that part of New York. So a few minutes later, it starts lighting up. Like, oh my god, there were so many fireflies in that area, and it was like it felt so magical. I felt like they were coming to visit me, and they were making themselves present, and they were right in front of me, like right here, and they were like lighting up in front of me. I just feel like it was just a magical experience, and I have so much video. I just have so much that it's going to take me time to put it up my shorts. No. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, I had a really good time, but like I said, I have my opinions on the Democratic run, Rochester, and the governor. Such a garbage job that they're doing. I mean, there's beautiful parts of New York, because I went to Watkins Glen, and it was so beautiful. So beautiful. I felt like I even went to Spectre, New York. Like, I feel like I was in the movie Big Fish. That's how like beautiful it was. Like, literally, I thought I was in the movie Big Fish. I was like, can I just stay in Spectre? I don't know, stay in Spectre. But like, I had to leave, just like the movie, and I wasn't ready for like I came too early to Spectre, and they were anticipating me staying, but I had to go back home to Connecticut. And it was a great trip. I had a great time. It was very magical, for sure. But I got to put those videos up. I'm gonna try my best to put them up as much as fast as possible as we can. Hopefully, soon I can get all those videos up. Let's check out another video here from Fox News. Bring it up here and let's check it out.
Welcome back. DNI Tulsi Gabbard now claims to have uncovered evidence the Trump-Russia collusion investigation resulted from, quote, manufactured intelligence. She says it was designed to discredit the president-elect back in 2016. Here she is yesterday.
There's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence.
All right, Justice Correspondent David Spunt is live out of Washington, D.C. for us. Good morning, David. What can you tell us?
Hey, Jillian, good morning. In 6 months, it'll be 2026, but for some, 2016 will not go away, and this administration has no plans for it to go away, uncovering new information. DNI Gabbard believes that Team Obama altered intelligence from Russia in saying Russia was not involved in the 2016 election to Russia was involved in the 2016 election shortly before Trump took office. She sent information for the DOJ and the FBI for possible prosecution.
This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic.
Fox News Digital obtained a declassified copy of the presidential daily brief for President Obama dated December 8th, 2016. It reads in part, we assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. Continues, Russian government-affiliated actors most likely compromised an Illinois voter registration database and unsuccessfully attempted the same in other states. But in 2020, a bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigation found that while the Trump may not have accepted Russian help, Russia did meddle in some form or another. The chairman of the Intel Committee at the time was Marco Rubio, then Florida senator, now the top diplomat to the United States. And in 2020, he put out a statement that said, the committee found absolutely no evidence that then candidate Donald Trump or his campaign colluded with the Russian government to meddle in the 2016 election. What the committee did find, however, is very troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. Senator Jim Himes is a Democrat from Connecticut on the Senate Intelligence Committee.
Oh, no, Connecticut.
Tulsi Gabbard accusing a former president of treason. Let's see if they bring charges. They won't. They won't, because there's not a judge in the land, not a single judge who will treat this with anything other than laughter that will be heard from the Atlantic to the Pacific in this country.
Himes pointed to the fact that Russians connected to the Kremlin bought Facebook ads to damage Clinton's campaign, hoping it would prop up Trump's campaign. But Tulsi Gabbard says she wants it investigated by law enforcement. Back to you.
All right, David Spunt in Washington for us this morning. Thank you.
So more on this. Want to bring in investigative journalist Matt Taibbi. Matt, thanks for joining our program today, and good morning to you.
Good morning.
A lot of the usual suspects, Clapper, Comey, Brennan, et cetera. But also Barack Obama is mentioned in a lot of this. And you read at Racket News that a source had told you that Obama is now, quote, center square in the Russiagate scam. Go ahead and explain that. Then I've got questions for you after that.
Sure. So the last major revelation that came out was that John Brennan and James Comey were the focus of criminal investigations that have been opened by the Justice Department. But these new documents that were released by Tulsi Gabbard and the Director of National Intelligence make it clear that the investigation is now aimed at the Obama White House, and in particular at Barack Obama, because of decisions that were made in early December of 2016 to suppress the presidential daily briefing and go ahead and order a new intelligence community assessment that ultimately would have much more aggressive conclusions about Trump and Russia.
So a lot of this December of 2016 into January of 2017, I'm assuming also. But Trump's people were in there for 4 years. And the current CIA director had his job for 8 months at the time. Did his people fail him? Why wasn't there more urgency on this and Trump 1.0 as there is now?
Yeah, that's a complaint I heard a lot over the weekend from people who have been following this, and even from former officials who are close to Trump. One of them said to me, a former high-ranking Trump official said there was, quote, so much corruption in the last Trump presidency that this shouldn't have been overlooked, that these documents should have come out. Absolutely. But the overall sense I get is that everyone's happy that they finally are coming out, and they're looking forward to what is likely to come out this week.
Okay, another question about Russia. Is the allegation they were trying to influence our election, or is the allegation that they actually changed votes? I think we need to be clear on that. What can we say?
So it's both. The Democrats are making a lot of hay over this apples and oranges issue, that there was never any question that they didn't actually change vote tallies, but they did influence the election. Actually, there was some question about whether they had the ability to influence the election. There were quotes earlier from that year with the FBI saying they didn't have any evidence that they had done so, and they were uncomfortable making that statement. There were also quotes saying that they lacked evidence that Russia had the ability to impact the outcome of the election. So all of this would have been passed on to somebody like Michael Flynn, because presidents-elect are entitled to receive the presidential daily briefing. That's why this is important. It's not so much what the PDB did say, it's what it didn't say. It didn't say that there was a sweeping conspiracy to help Trump. And if they had that, it would have been a very different political picture going forward.
Okay, looks like it's the DOJ's call next, and we'll see what they do. Matt, thanks for coming on. Matt Taibbi, be good to be in touch with you. Thank you.
Wow.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I feel right now, I'm with you, man, on that one. I'm happy to be alive to when this was going on. You know, I'm really happy to be alive to when the craziness that's going on. Let's check out this next one here.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard dropped a bombshell over the weekend in the form of 100 documents. She says that massive Russia hoax was essentially directed by former President Barack Obama. Now she's sending everything she has found to the U.S. Justice Department and is asking the department to prosecute.
Okay, so before I continue on with this one, this is it's playing in my head. So I'm just gonna relay what's happening in real time in my head. It comes up with the Epstein files, right? All this Epstein, how Trump's saying, yeah, it's all bullshit, it's all fake, it's all this and that, right? No, it did happen, right? There's a lot of entrapment that happened within that Epstein stuff. And it's true. But where's the accountability, right? We never got accountability from the Epstein files. We never got accountability from Pizzagate. Oh shit. And why am I talking about Pizzagate at the same time with Epstein? Did he have a collusion between Pizza and Epstein? Oh yes. Very dark indeed. And the fact that we're just gonna ignore Pizzagate, ignore the Comet Pizza, ignore what Obama created, because all this craziness, how it got really crazy with Epstein, Obama had a lot of little fingers in that. I'm gonna say that, Obama could be on that Epstein list. And if he's not in that list, now we know why he's not. Because a lot of bullshit that they were doing during those times with the Obamas, we could say is very fraudulent and very incriminating. And the fact that they thought they could get away with it, I'm here to be entertained. I'm still alive for a reason. There's a lot of things I need to witness before I do go. And the downfall of the Obamas, and not only that, but the Bidens also, which the next video I'll bring up. It's going to be interesting with the Hunter Biden. So let's finish up the Faulkner focus. That's going to be, let's say, another 6 minutes of it. And then we're going to go into the Hunter Biden. We're going to watch it off of Jesse Waters prime time. It's laughable, Just give the guy a little bit of coke, and he'll chirp like a canary. Oh no, Rick. Yeah, it's true.
House Oversight Committee members are calling for accountability.
There needs to be criminal prosecution and arrest. Lying under oath, putting out a false intelligence report.
Sure.
And that's a violation of 18 U.S. Code. If we don't stop this, if we don't
But
actually say this will not be tolerated, this is not a Democrat or Republican thing. This is about the health and the sanctity of our constitutional republic. And so there needs to be arrests. This is not partisan. This is simply illegal what they did, and we're simply upholding the law.
Justice correspondent David Spunt is in Washington. David.
Hey, Harris, Tulsi Gabbard says the Obama team previously found no Russian interference in the 2016 election. And then suddenly, before Donald Trump took office in early 2017, she says the Obama team changed its narrative. Critics say Gabbard is conflating two different things. Fox News Digital obtained a declassified copy of the presidential daily brief for then-President Obama dated December 8, 2016. It reads in part, "We assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure."
Yeah, why would you bring it up?
Shortly before Trump took office, the intelligence seemed to change, and allegations about Russian interference to help Trump were rampant.
There's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence.
Now, Democrats, Harris, say Obama's team was always concerned about Russia sowing discord online via Facebook and other social media channels to ruin Clinton and help Trump. In 2020, the chairman of the Intel Committee at the time, Marco Rubio, then Florida senator, now Trump's top diplomat, released an exhaustive report. He said in a statement the committee found absolutely no evidence that then candidate Donald Trump or his campaign colluded with the Russian government to meddle in the 2016 election. What the committee did find, however, is very troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. Senator Jim Himes is a Democrat from Connecticut on the Intel Committee.
Then we hear about
Tulsi Gabbard accusing a former president of treason. Let's see if they bring charges. They won't. They won't, because there's not a judge in the land.
Idiot. I live in Connecticut. This
with
guy's a
anything
fucking
other
idiot.
than laughter that will be heard from the Atlantic to the Pacific in this country.
Now, Gabbard wants the DOJ and FBI to investigate. She said referrals are underway, and she wants charges, though it's unclear if and any charges will be filed at this time. But certainly something we're going to watch. Harris.
David, thank you very much. Texas Congressman Pat Fallon is on that House Oversight Committee, which is driving hard for whoever may have broken the law here to pay for it. He also sits on the Intelligence and Armed Services Committees. Great to see you today. Talk to me about just the top line in all of this. How is this different from what we knew under Trump's first term, for instance?
Well, what we found, Harris, is that the Intelligence Committee under Barack Obama was either ethically incompetent or that was a coordinated effort to manipulate intelligence for political gain. That is sure. From what I can tell you is the preponderance of the evidence certainly suggests that. It's more probable than that happened. Now, as we investigate this further, and I personally have a lot more reading to do when I get back to Washington today, is can we get to a reasonable doubt threshold? Because what I've seen thus far is very troubling, and it truly, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, it could be Watergate-esque.
Can you share any of it? Because I know a lot of it you can't share, but people are curious to know, gosh, everybody was digging for this to in part defend what the president was calling the Russia hoax, and he was right. So why now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what can you give us just a tidbit of what you think we need to know?
I think I want to also clear something up, because there's Russian attempted interference, and then there's collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, which never happened, right? I mean, since Lenin, since 2022, when their Russian Civil War was over and it became the Soviet Union, they've been trying to, in some ways, meddle in American and Western democracies. Of course, they've been trying to influence things, and I'm sure they were a party to a lot of the terrorism we saw in the 70s in Europe, et cetera, et al. But to say, in which a lot of the intelligence community said, that President Trump and his campaign were colluding with Russia is a completely different topic, which there is zero evidence that ever happened. There's also zero hard evidence that Russia effectively altered the outcome of the 2016 election.
Yeah, that's important to know, because you heard Democrats saying that at every turn. All right, I want to get to this. It's from investigative journalist Matt Taibbi. Let's watch.
Especially from Hillary Clinton.
The investigation is now aimed at the Obama White House, and in particular at Barack Obama, because of decisions that were made to the presidential daily briefing and go ahead and order a new intelligence community assessment that ultimately would have much more aggressive conclusions about Trump and Russia.
Wow, this is really problematic because this looks like it was going on far before Trump ever was in his first term as president. I mean, what would the goal have been by Obama if that's true?
Obviously, before the November election, it was to make sure that Hillary won, and then afterward, it was to discredit and start that really a tar and feathering campaign that we saw that never ended. I mean, other networks that didn't value the truth at all, but valued spin over the truth, wouldn't stop with it. And that's what's troubling. And this is an egregious and criminal violations of the Hatch Act as well, if what we are finding can hold up.
Well, it's great to have you today. The story is breaking wide open. Please come back as we learn more. I look forward to that. Thank you.
Thanks, Harris. God bless. Take care.
You too.
Hey, everyone.
Wow. It's just, all I got to say is it's happening so fast. Like, because they try to get Trump, right? And trap him so many times. And it's like, they try to kill the motherfucker. But the motherfucker won't die. He's not easy. He's not easy. He has he's a special one. I known this for a very long time. The individual is very special. I kind of grew up in those times. All of us that are here grew up in the Donald Trump times. He's not afraid to take risks, He's not afraid to take risks. And he actually challenged a lot. Very helpful. If you know Trump, I can tell you just the guy is a very good guy. He has good intentions. Like, the amount of work he did for New York and New York City, and the contribution, like especially when he finished off the ice rink down in Central Park. It's just amazing how Trump was able to get that project. The city, it took them forever to get that project done, and they couldn't get it done. Trump got in and took over the project and got it done in like I think it's like 6 months, or it was done quick. And the guy knows business. He's a great businessman. I think that's what this country needs, is a great businessman, not a puppet. There's a lot of puppets that have come through, and it's a popularity contest, right? You're the most popular person, so here you go. You talk for all of us, and when that leader speaks, the reflection lies. It's so fucking true. It's so true. And Obama was just this control puppet from the 1%. Let's not get it twisted. They're the ones that controls the puppets. They put the hand up their ass and controls them. And it is all pre-planned and premeditated. A lot has to do with Soros, because that's where the vision is going now. It went straight to Soros, and he looks like Palpatine from Star Wars, but it would make Palpatine look. I'm sorry, Palpatine. I had to say that. I'm sorry, dude. I know he's he's worse than you for sure. But the guy's, he's a creep. His son is an idiot. His son he's trapped pretty much. The Clintons got him trapped, and that one he's a lost cause. And it was because of the Clintons. The Clintons they had or have lots of power and control. How the hell does the first lady from Clinton? Okay, because Clinton was the president. Bill Clinton was the president, not Hillary. She was just the fucking wife, the first wife. You know, she's the wife. So how the hell did the pans went from Bill to Hillary, and how Hillary got so up there? The manipulation of the Democratic Party, and not only that, but the 1% to continue their bullshit agenda. And it's horrible that society just don't realize it. You know, it takes someone like me just to talk and just to get the conversation going about it. You know, how did Hillary get to the position of power that she got to? You know, who was she to Obama to be within his administration? We just fucking forget she was Secretary of the State of fucking United States. Like, are we just like, we're just gonna sit here and be like, how the hell this bitch got to the power that she got to, and how is she still controlling some kind of narrative and not getting? There's no accountability. Zero, big goose egg accountability. Never got in trouble for all those emails that were classified, and yet she was like, "They're not classified. They weren't classified." You're beating up a dead horse. That horse is Hillary Clinton. She's very. So many bad things happen, you know. But it's like, why talk about it on YouTube? Nobody listens, right? It's just the visions that I see and the things that I see and the stuff that had happened, especially in those parties, and a lot of things in the cave. Like I see caves, and I see it in the White House, and I seen just younglings. I see a lot of younglings, and I'm pretty sure they're coming from that pizzeria, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Hillary Clinton definitely loves the fish. She loves fish. She loves to munch on the fish. She loves fish and carpets, and she's a carpet muncher, if you know what I mean. Nobody's calling her out and how many times she's been on that island too. How come her name is not spoken upon? I wonder why. Yeah. But let's continue on with the show and continue on with the next. Let's go to Jesse Waters, because this has to do with, I think, Biden. What's his name? Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is on the loose. That goose is on fire. He give that dude a little bit of coke, and he'll tell you the whole fucking story of everything what happened in that White House. It's funny, but it's so true.
Hunter Biden's breaking his silence, and he's distancing himself from his daddy.
Do you think Joe Biden was involved in some cover-up? Do you think Jake Tapper's telling the truth when he says that I was the acting chief of staff of the president? I was in that White House 12 days over the course of the last 2 years of the administration. Clearly, because I had other things going on.
Hold on,
okay?
I gotta.
You ask one person to go on the record. That would
Seven, man, I miss you, man. I hope you're doing. I always hope you're doing well. But dude, yeah, you're freaking right, and especially remember the Clinton Foundation and how they were supposed to be helping Haiti and so forth, and remember Oprah Winfrey with her foundation that was supposed to be helping those African kids and stuff. I wonder where they were funneling the children to. Who are they supplying the children to? That's what I want, all this transparency to happen, because the Epstein is not about Trump. It's more about the Clintons. Yeah, I didn't stutter. It's about the Clintons and how deceiving and disgusting, and the fact that Oprah too got involved and was channeling these kids and feeding them to these disgusting people. It's just and a lot of those kids are not with us. They threw them overboard. They killed them. They throw them overboard. They tie him up. Listen, this is very easy. This is how you do it. They wrap their feet up. They tie their hands, and they put like a center block on where their feet is, and they throw them overboard with the center block. Yeah, I see it. I could see it. No, you don't have no other people talking about this. Things that went on that island that I can see and feel and astral project and see the disgusting. Like, it's so disgusting, especially the younglings massaging like Clinton, and very nasty, like disgusting. Oh, you wouldn't even want to see the videos. They have videos of it. Watch, I get a call from the the intelligence, Homeland Security, and fucking CIA. How the fuck you know what you're talking about? Like, did you see the videos? Like, no, but I could tell you a lot of nasty, disgusting things happen on that island that I wouldn't want to be on for sure. But so many victims, and yet we need to find out where that channel goes to, because like, okay, we have the Epstein Island, right? That's just a point, but where is everything else is being funneled through? That's where we need to go. This rabbit hole goes pretty deep, and there's a lot of people involved from all around this world. So that's why Trump is like, he's trying to kill it and be like, let's not open up that Pandora's box. But society wants that Pandora box wide open, and they're ready to kick that bitch open. They're ready to kick it open. Shit, I'm there with the fucking wrench and shit. Open that bitch up. I'm there with my rods, my definition rods. I'm like, open it up. I got the key. Just I want the truth. At least before I die, I would like to know the truth so that way I can report it. I'm gonna report that bitch. I'm a fucking reporter for Jesus here. If I see him, I'm gonna slap him. I told you right now. I've been telling you guys, if I get up there and as Jesus is there and he's sleeping, I'm gonna slap him and I'm gonna wake him up and I'm gonna tell him, "Do you have my joint rolled?" Because I said I wanted 2 joints. It was one for me and one for you, and I was gonna tell you everything that I witnessed that has happened here, and the fact that you're asleep under the wheel, and we had chaos. I'm talking about chaos for the past 4 years. Thank God Trump took office, but those past like 4 years was like hell. I mean, the fact that I survived that, it proves to me I'm very resilient. Okay, we're all resilient, but we all need to get on the same page. We are all Americans here, the ones that were born here and are native to this country. Yeah, we need to get together and try to get this shit right. Because right now, like, a lot of this democratic bullshit and sanctuary city bullshit, that's not working. That would never work. Like, what happened to the United States of America? Your guys are acting like fucking cancer. I know what cancer is, and it's a bitch. And you guys are acting like little bitches. Like, these motherfuckers. I'm like, if I was president, I'm like, these motherfuckers. They think that they could have their own little, their own little sanctuary, like not part of the United States type of thing. Are you kidding me? And you're getting federal money from me too? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Like, no, we are America. We are Americans. We are united together. not divided. And everybody wants to be divided. Everybody likes to fight. I mean, I like to have resolution. There's time for fighting, but there's also time for resolution. And just get to the point. That the point is we all need to communicate. If we don't communicate, we don't learn from each other. We stay like stuck on stupid. We all stay stuck on stupid. But I don't want to be stuck on stupid. We have each other. But let's go ahead to crackhead Biden. Oh, I'm sorry, Hunter Biden. I'm just sorry. Every time I see him, I think about crackhead. Like he looked like one of the ones that are seen in Rochester. He looked like one of the white ones that I saw in Rochester, but the one that I saw in Rochester was pretty horrible. I mean, the guy looked like a skeleton, and he was one of the doblaos, which I call the bended people. I came up with the name. I'm sorry. I call him lo doblao. my I have witnesses. Okay. Rick comes with receipts. Yeah. I came up with the term calle de lo doblao, the street of the bended. And what I mean about the bended is the homeless or druggies that are out there that are hooked on fentanyl, and the fentanyl makes their body goes like this, like on the ground, and they're bended over. So in Spanish, the bended people is I call them lo doblao. And I call that one street calle del Domblao. So it was like the street of the bended. And he looks like one of them. I'm sorry, he just looks like one of them. All right, let's listen to Hunter throw some shade at the Democratic Party and starts more fires within the Democratic Party. And you give this guy a little bit of coke, he'll give you a load of stories. I tell you that for sure. This guy is a hook on phonics right here. This guy looks like he did some drugs because his eyes, like the way they look, tells me a lot. This face right here tells me a lot that I don't even need to hear it from him. I already know it. So let's just take a listen. I mean, this is Jesse Waters' show, so let's listen into his show.
Tell you that I was in any way making a single decision about anything in that White House. I stayed as far away as I possibly could, which, by the way, broke my heart.
It's so bad, even Hunter doesn't want to be associated with the Biden administration. The coup and the landslide shattered the structure of the party into a million pieces. And now it's up to Gavin and Tampon to save it from the commies. Black Rogan, Jamie Harrison, just launched a podcast and booked Tampon as his first guest. And the party's so broke, they couldn't afford 2 couches, so they had to share.
In Winnie the Pooh, Democrats are a donkey, but we are sure as hell are Eeyore most of the time.
Yeah.
It is a woe is me party, and everything is dark and dim. And the Republicans remind me of Tigger. Tigger will everything up. I mean, he will just mess it all up, but never take any ownership of it. Like still hopeful and joyful and bouncing around and messing other things up.
I never thought of that analogy, but it is pretty apt.
Who are you calling a Tigger? Trump spent 6 months cleaning up your mess. Democrats are only woe is me because they're the party of women and they're out of power. Trump's bouncing around having a good time because he's pumping up American business. And even though Timmy and Jamie have never run a business, they want you to know they're not Marxists.
Donald Trump sells snake oil or whatever.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
It's capturing this idea of wealth and being able to be
I see
successful,
Tim Watts.
which
I
we as
think of
Democrats,
tampons.
We want people to pay their fair share, but why are
That's
we
what I
against
think
people
about.
being successful like that? We
Please
can't be.
fucking
Why are
God.
we against? We
I need
should
to roll a
talk
joint
about
'cause I
businesses.
just saw
Not all
Tim.
businesses exploit their workers, and
When
we
I
get
see
ourselves
Tim Watts,
stuck in
I have
that.
to smoke a
And
joint.
I think we lose them.
Not all businesses
I have to
exploit their
smoke a joint or
workers.
roll a joint.
Way to go, Tampon. The Chinese
Yeah,
honeymoon's
Tampon.
officially over. But the
I'm gonna
racism,
smoke a
that's
joint.
still sticking. Tampon says one time a black guy told him not all black guys are criminals.
This is one that Wes Moore is really good at and talked to me about, talking about black men and what happened. And he said, you get a lot of good-hearted politicians that'll come to black men in the community and talk about we restored felon voting rights. And he said, not knowing how insulting that is for these young men.
Tampon just found out not every black guy has a record. Waltz is learning things from all kinds of people. He just found out from his son that Trump's fun.
My son was able to vote as an 18-year-old, and I asked him about his take is, especially young white men, is he said, Dad, a lot of them aren't about the policies. Mm-hmm. They're about the thrill and the excitement, and Trump brings the circus type of thing.
Then it was time to throw Kamala under the bus. And we've never heard this before from him. He's always been a very loyal number two. Tampon called Kamala lazy. He called her a quitter.
Trump even gets the whole thing about being part of a team, give them the same hat, the same slogans and stuff like that. It's maddening to us. For a while there in August, I think we were giving them that place to go. You gave it to them in Chicago. You gave them something. And then we just kind of quit.
We did.
He didn't quit for 4 years.
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Democrats may hate Trump, but they love that he's the real deal. Quote, party leaders are swearing more, recording more direct-to-camera videos, and trying to project an authenticity many voters have come to associate with Trump. You can't act authentic. You either are or you aren't. Black Rogan was downright giddy to tell Tampon that the only rule was no rules.
It's family talk. It's street talk. There's no frills, no fancy words. Feel free to drop F-bombs or whatever you got to do whenever you got to do it.
Everybody wants to be like Trump. After 47 served fries at Mickey D's, Gavin's locking up the Hispanic vote, making tortillas. Remember when Trump posted a taco bowl on Cinco de Mayo? They called him racist. But what do they call Gavin sweating in the back of a Mexican restaurant? At least he learned his lesson. He's not serving caviar at the French Laundry. Meanwhile, no matter how hard the white guys try, the commies stealing their base and their property.
Never knew some fucking idiot.
Would life be better if we just abolished private property?
I think it probably would be better. That's not what my platform is, that I'm saying to abolish it, but my platform is to decommodify it. The system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused, right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now.
Kami Mamdani says abolishing private property is a good idea. This is the guy Democrats are swooning over because he's so authentic. I guess he is authentic. He's saying the things the rest of the Democrats believe but are afraid to say. That's why they love him. So if I understand this correctly, Mamdani is a commie, but he's not running as a commie.
This guy is not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's an advocate for small c capitalism. And that, he really is fighting for the little business guy that's trying to eke out a living in New York. Half of all New Yorkers
believe that shit.
Small business.
I got
a bridge to sell you. Communist. It is a red wave, and not the good kind. First New York, now Minneapolis. Here's their next mayor.
It is a big spending bill. Like I said, it's $400 million, but to be honest, it's not an expense. It's an investment. It is relatively small compared to the scope of the issue of systemic racism. This country was founded on wealth extraction from the labor of Black people. And that legacy will just not fade.
They think it's only Black people were slaves.
This is what the next 3 years is going to look like. Semi-straight white guys trying to win back the working man.
There were a lot of Puerto Rican slaves.
While a young communist typhoon sweeps the base off its feet.
To get the credit.
Even CNN admits the Dems are cooked.
The bottom line is this. Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, ahead by 7 points. And now they're only ahead by 2 points.
Not only are the American people quitting the Democrats, Democrats, like Kamala, are quitting on the American people. Senator Spartacus and his crew are just walking off the job instead of doing it.
Why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's all we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian.
Wow.
It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Click here to subscribe.
Wow. It's just, yeah. It's the Democrats think that they're the shit, but they're just not the shit. They're just a piece of shit. Let's go to the next story.
When did you have to be willing to spend almost $10 on Oreos to get a deal?
The cost of living, issue number one for American shoppers, and new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics showing inflation is creeping back up, rising 0.3% last month, up 2.7% from a year ago, and in turn, driving up the costs of some linens, video equipment, clothes, furniture, and toys. Appliances jumped too last month by the most in that category since 2020. It may be early evidence steep tariffs are showing up in your family's bills.
The numbers tell us that inflation and especially the tariffs are starting to bite. It's not a huge increase. It's not a huge spike yet, but you no longer have to squint to see it.
Sneakflation has arrived.
Sneakflation. You'll remember its cousin, shrinkflation, where bags are smaller, but the price stays the same.
I have just been victimized by shrinkflation, and I'm pretty mad about it.
The new word of the year.
Is a tactic where companies find subtle ways to pass on their costs.
We're just experiencing the new fucking word of the year. Sneakflation. Oh my god! I think it's their brains that are sneakflation. Fucking. I needed a break. I'm sorry. When I hear something stupid, I need a break from stupidity. I can't just listen to it all at once, even though it's like almost 5 minutes long. I just can't. I just can't. I'm actually rolling another joint because it's one of those nights. It's like, oh fuck, Rick's on fire tonight. It's like, no, I'm about to light up. Like, it's just, I got more stories to show, so I really gonna need more to smoke. So I need to roll up and take a break from sneakflation. I mean, like I said, if you believe that shit, I got a lot of shit to sell you. I got a lot of bridges. I do got some waterfalls if you're interested to sell you. I don't own it, but since you're so stupid, I'll just sell it to you anyways. And you just give me the money and that's it. Because the money doesn't deserve to be with you. Like, it's like, send it to me. I know what to do with it. I just make improvements. That's all. I just like to improve, not fall back. You know, just moving forward. I want to do more positive videos, especially like up my shorts. No, in my shorts, I want to do some more shorts and film from more locations. Like I'm inspired by the filming and him learning about filming. That's so cool. I wish you very much success. I do feel good for you about that. That's that's a good hobby, and you could really cash in your things that you love to do, and you just get to it and do it. And photography, film, it's always been a good passion of mine. Ever since I was little, I used to learn. When I was little, I was what? I was about 6 years old when I learned how to use the projector, the film projector. I was that advanced that when I was like 6, 7 years old, like actually six, because I was in first grade. My teacher, all I did was one time. That's all I had to do. I watched them like put together the film projector and run the film projector, and by watching them, I learned how to use it. And one time, the teacher had a film that she wanted to show us, but she didn't know how to work the film projector. So in order like she was gonna be like forget about the movie and just not do it, I told the teacher that I knew how to work the projector, and another teacher confirmed it. She's like, "Yeah, he knows how to. He knows more than I do." Well, I'll always remember that moment too. She's like, "He knows more than I do," and my teacher's like, "Okay, here." So she gave me the movie. Remember back in it was the film projector, so it was like that. It was like an aluminum film, like a real old school film. Um, she opened it up, and the film was inside. So I took out the film, loaded it up on the film projector, ran it through the systems all around, up and around to the catcher where it catches the film, and then set the film up, clip it on. I still know how to do it to this day. It's so weird. It's so weird. I mean, it was so old school. So I'm like doing all the movements that I had to do with my hands. And once I got that movie set, I was ready to go. Click it on and turn it on, and then you got the film. And it was so unique. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I was the only one too that knew how to work it at a young age. Nobody else in that, like in my grade, knew how to do that. That's why they marked me advanced. I think that's where I showed like signs of advancement. Was like during kindergarten and first grade, especially first grade. Oh man, after that, I was always like advanced, and I was always like separated from class. Like I was like the class was like in a building, like literally in a building on the second floor, first and second floor, like four corners and inside. It was just a weird setup. The school, I would have to draw it out for you guys to like see what I went through. Um, but they used to send me to the portable, and we had portables. We had the music classroom, and then we had like arts and craft classroom, and then we had a special portable out there, and it was for the events kids. And guess who was in that portable? I was. I was one of those kids that was in that portable. It was only a few of us. I think it was like 6 or 7 of us that were in that class. And yeah, it was very weird. It just every time I go back and I think about it, I feel like I don't know. I was always like selected for things, or always like even in the military when they pulled me out and like they called my name like out of uh like gotta be how many people were there? I don't even know. I don't remember the amount of soldiers that were there, potential soldiers. um Only 3 of us like got to advance and be sworn in instantly as soldiers. um yeah, I need to write a book. I got so much in my head. um yeah, let's go ahead back to this. Like, I got the joint ready. Oh no. Yeah, here it is. I get it all ready. You know what? Let me light it up now, because that way I can get through the story and then finish off the rest of the stories and then call it a night. I'm glad my throw is holding up 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that's I like that. That's if it can hold up that long, then I'm gonna try to push. So let's watch the rest of this one. This one's just a wild one. Shrink, a sneak inflation. Oh, she has a Wells Fargo's card. Like, girl, what are you buying for $7.70? Amount due, right? Because this is shrinkflation, right? So they decided to show someone paying with a Wells Fargo Visa card, right? Happily placed like there. I don't see anything lit on the screen. Because I mean, I see this screen, but I don't really see anything on the screen. So maybe they darken it out so they don't show like maybe information. Is this, I don't know what country this is at. I don't know if this is United States. I mean, this could be anywhere. But what did she buy for $7.70? That's what I want to know.
Without changing the listed price.
I got in the latest order of my toilet paper. The rolls are way smaller. The paper's way thinner. The quality has gone way downhill. Do you think they've changed the price on them though? Mm-mm.
Like lowering the quality of the product, shortening return windows, and ending free shipping. But consumers are noticing the hidden prices and pressing pause on their spending. In a recent survey of online shoppers, more than 30% of respondents delayed purchases due to uncertainty over prices. A new Federal Trade Commission rule went into effect back in May, cracking down on tactics used to hide total prices from consumers, like adding hidden fees. And with inflation rates likely to keep increasing over the next few months, experts anticipate businesses will find new, sneakier ways to pass the costs of tariffs onto consumers.
Just go back to the basics of being a shopper, being a good bargain hunter. You really have to sit there and
I think this is a fear
who
tactic.
has the lowest price, and is this actually a bargain?
Okay, I had to pause it there. I had to pause it. Oh no. It's time for Rick's thoughts. I don't know, the fear, right? Why the fear tactic? Because it feels very like I would say democratically made agency there. Why the fear? If things go up, all right, okay, they've been going up. They've been up since Biden. Like, what's the difference between those years and Trump's years? I mean, I remember Trump's years, it was actually a lot better. Now it's just, they're making all this fear and all these, they're reacting because they're all fearful of all this tariffs and all this and that. It's like, listen, deals need to be made. Deals are being made now. So we are going to have, yes, tough times. It's going to have some little tough times. Maybe it's going to go up and maybe you're not going to be able to get that extra Barbie for your kid. Like, that's just what it is, and don't, first of all, don't be spoiling the kids. You don't need to over spoil them. You take care of them how you want to take care of them, but don't overdo them, don't overstimulate them, because then you're just creating a small mini monster and it's gonna terrorize the world. Just listen, just keep it simple, stupid. That's it. And shop for deals. Go to places where you think it's more affordable. Aldi's, farmers markets sometimes have good deals. They have, like, sometimes they even do double coupons, like double your whatever you pay, and they give you double to buy produce and so forth. So there's places that have really good deals. You just got to shop around and make sure, just go when they have specials, and just shop smarter. There's ways to solve that without having to go through the fear of it. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so what are the other sneaky tactics that we should look out for?
You might have to pay more, have a bigger order size to qualify for free or overnight shipping. So look at that. Those order sizes are going to get bigger and bigger. Overnight shipping might not be just guaranteed here. You might have a longer return window, so or shorter return window. So that means that you got to return something right away. You might see restocking fees. There will be ways that companies are trying to recoup their higher costs, passing it on to you in some like fewer perks, really, in the shopping experience. And
a lot of diming.
And a lot of people are really addicted to the free shipping. So I really watch that there, and watch for higher shipping costs too. One of our colleagues bought something from UPS and found this big extra shipping costs on it. And that was basically passing an import tariff onto the shopper.
Oh, wow.
And, we talk about value. This is the summer of value.
This bitch was not coming with facts.
Having its moment this
Wait
summer.
a minute. This bitch is running off assumptions. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Back to Rick Thoughts. This bitch is running off of I don't know, man. Assumption, like if you assume something and you're not really like experiencing for yourself and you're hearing it from somebody else, you're just assuming that that person was telling you the truth or telling you so forth. Like you got to experience it for yourself to really talk about it. That's what I say. Learn from experience and don't fall for the fear. Because that's what like all of these agencies and all these people like NBC and CBS and ABC, all they run is on fear, and it's the fear P word. It's just disgusting. It's very disgusting. Do you trust this lady? She looks like a Drew Barrymore reject. Like she looks like a Drew Barrymore reject. I'm sorry. And Drew Barrymore is crazy as fuck. She's another one that flew off the cuckoo tree.
Look at what arrived this morning. These are the viral crispy marshmallow Costco cookies. You can buy,
Where's this sneakflation?
5,000 of them for $10. But anyway, that was just a callback to yesterday, our summer of value. A lot of people looking to buy bulk. A lot of people looking for I know that.
That was a stupid move. That just made her look even okay. Back to Rick Thoughts. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, good night. Let's see. Good night, 7. You're going to sleep. Sleepy time for me. Catch you on the next one. Thank you. Thank you, 7 Separates. I will be checking out. I gotta subscribe to the new channel. Where's my phone? My phone's back here. I gotta subscribe on your channel. I saw you have like 70 something subscribers. I was like, damn, he went back to new again. But she lost the audience with the cookies. It's like, these cookies don't look sneakflation. Let me see these cookies, and they're all grabbing the cookies and they're not paying attention to her. And she's like, yeah, those cookies are good. Like, what a waste of a fucking program right there. That was just like I want to go back and you guys can see them like grabbing the cookies. Even one of the ladies, she went straight for the whole plate. Like literally, she went for the plate. Like that's wild. And let me show you the cookies. Look at the cookies. They're marshmallow cookies that I think they were saying. Those things don't look no sneakflation. That looks like a huge dozen of cookies there. Like, are you kidding me? Like one cookie right there, that's enough. That's enough. I don't need the whole fucking plate. This girl, she grabs the plate. Look, I'm gonna play right now. You're gonna see one of the hosts of the show. She goes right for the plate. She goes right for the plate and takes the whole plate.
1,000 of them for $10. But anyway, that was just a callback to yesterday, our summer of value. A lot of people looking to buy bulk. A lot of people looking for the. I know that's going to taste.
If it's this good, you don't mind a little
sneak
upcharge.
There's no sneakflation.
It's crazy to think it's somebody's job to figure out where to put in the money in the chain of purchase to make up for this, right? To get as creative as possible so that we, the consumer, don't know where it is.
Absolutely. And they're going to try to absorb those costs any way they can, as long as they can, because consumers are so picky about prices, right? They're exhausted by inflation. And so finding different ways to absorb those higher costs.
Budding meteorologist right here.
What the fuck was the show about? I see a bunch of gremlins there. It looked like a bunch of gremlins came together and they just started picking out on cookies. That's wild. Like, she lost me and lost the story. Like, everybody's just the story is everybody's eating your cookies that you brought, and your story that you're talking about and you're complaining about Karen, I don't understand. So people are gonna be like, what the fuck? This bitch brought cookies and she thought she was gonna get these people to pay attention. They didn't pay attention. They want that cookie. Oh Lord.
It's giving Rice Krispie treat meets oatmeal cookie.
That's what it is.
Sugar
It's like if
cookie.
they had a baby. This is what it would be.
Exactly. All right, Alro. All right. You still have to do the weather, man.
That's it. If you give a weatherman a cookie, you don't need to walk in front of the camera.
That's it. It was this it was that wonderful children's book. When you give a weatherman a cookie,
Yeah.
it's so wonderful. It's beautiful. Hey, thanks for watching. And
That
don't forget,
is
you can
crazy. They lost the story with me. I was like, these motherfuckers are hungry. NBC, feed these people freaking today. You guys are not giving them cookies. Like, what's going on? These people are all cheating on their diet. If they had a diet, like, I don't think they broke it. They broke it with that cookie. And I sneakflation, whatever she was talking about, it just didn't stick to my mind. I'm not in fear. I'm not like, oh my God, there's less. They're trying to duke us. They've been duking us. Like, they've been duking us since the Obama years. And you're here trying to like act surprised that they're doing this? Please. Okay, let's go to another story. I don't know. Let's go here. Let's do some crazy stories, I guess, right? Let's check this out.
You have a crash on the causeway. You have a fitness influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers. He's known for squeezing watermelons. And now the video, all exclusive, of him being squeezed.
I just been struck by a vehicle aside from me. Westbound.
We are now seeing the video. Early May, Miami Beach. A Miami Beach police officer, Anthony Guzman, orders his motorcycle to stop. And then...
Oh. What the hell?
The officer had choice words for Armando Fragacha Valentinetto, a Brazilian-born personal trainer and fitness influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. They say he fled onto the MacArthur Causeway. In the meantime, Good Samaritans helped the officer up.
Thank you, sir.
Aww.
Back to the causeway. Cops said the influencer wrecked into another car. In the video, you can see he's bloodied, and so is his wife, who was on the motorcycle, say police.
I'm okay.
Put your hands behind your back. You're just going to be detained for an hour.
He was more than detained. He would be sent to jail.
They were involved in a crash down there. They left, and then they got into another crash right here.
They stabilize his wife and take her to the hospital.
She didn't have a home, and she didn't lose consciousness.
His next court date is in August.
Wherever he goes, we go.
Wherever he goes, we go. The guy would be taken to jail. Final note here, that Miami Beach police officer shows you the dangers of doing the job. Thank goodness he only had minor injuries. He did have fractured ribs. We're live on Miami Beach. I'm Rosh Lowe, Local 10 News.
That's crazy. I told you it was gonna go crazy. It went a little too wild for me. That's a little too wild. Getting hit like that, like imagine you're at work, you're a police officer, you're in, you're trying to slow this idiot down, and they come and they crash right into you.
He was more than
So let
detained. He would
me
be
see if
sent
I
to
could go
jail.
back into this video again. Let me take off the sound, and so we can review it together, because the body cam, it went pretty quick. So let's back it up here. Let's see, we're here. So let's watch in slow motion, because I like to watch some stuff in like videos like this in slow motion. So let's go to the playback. Let's lower it. Let's watch this in slow motion. I don't know if it's on, and there we go. So let's watch this together. So that's dumb right there. So he told him to slow down. So he comes and rams into them. Oh yeah, look. He comes up and boom, hits the officer. The officer falls down. Hold on, let's just bring it back again. I wish I could go slower. I wish YouTube could make that setting. See, like right here, that's the bike. Is that a bike, or I don't know what the a scooter? His foot is off to the side. That's the officer right there. So it is dumb. I don't get it. I don't like. How did he go from here? Why was this officer in the middle of the road, though? That's my question. Why is the officer in the middle of the road? I mean, chat, help me make it make sense. We're doing a little investigation for ourselves, right? You're a witness, right? Or you're part of the jury, right? And this is the video that they show you, right? So you're watching in slow motion. Now let's stop right here. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, there's 3 lanes here. There's 1 lane here. There's a vehicle, right? There's a bike right here in the middle. And then there's a lane right here, which is the right lane. So you got the right, the left, and actually the left, center, and right. Why is this cop? And this is the light right here. So this is the crosswalk is back here. So the crosswalk is over here. Why is the police officer in the middle lane? Help me make it make sense. This is the part of the show, is help me make it make sense. Okay, he put his foot down on the bike. So we just witnessed there. He did put the biker here. He did put his foot down. Right there. Right there. His foot goes down. Was it an accidental throttle? Because he is in the middle of the road. The bike is not moving. So when the bike moves, like, did the cop not move out the fucking way? I'm sorry, but like, we're investigators right now, and we're watching evidence. Why is this cop in the middle of the way? If the cop is looking, because remember the body camera is in front of him. Okay, the camera is recording from your chest. So his body's facing away from them. He's walking away. And if he's walking away, why did he turn back and and went to the bike. You know, you got to be careful with the media. The media will paint this in a negative way for the individuals in the cycle. Like, and is a scooter, is a bike, I don't know. Let's move it forward. So he's moving away, but what makes him turn around? Okay, because now he's walking in away from the middle lane, and he's going to the right lane. You can see the lines right here. You see the line right here. So you can see it's between the right lane and the middle lane. So if he's walking this way, the officer turned around. Okay, the officer turned back around and put his hands on. Oh, no. This is the officer's fault. I'm sorry to tell you. This is the officer's fault. Why would you turn around and put your hands out? They're in the right lane. They're in the middle. That looks like a scooter or something. I don't think it's a motorcycle. I think it's some kind of scooter or something. But the officer you can see his hand right here, puts it out, pushes the bike. I don't know what type of bike that is. You know? Pushes. Oh yeah, you saw the hand. Even in the shadow, you could see it. Look, this is the officer's hand right here. Why is the officer put his hand on the bike? No, the biker needs to get an attorney. He needs an attorney. I got a good attorney in South Florida. I could get him a really good attorney. You see, he pushed. The bike is moving forward. He's in the lane. He's not supposed to be there. Why is the cop in the middle of the road? And pushing the bike. Yeah, it is a motorcycle. It looks like an expensive one. It looks like an expensive bike. And the officer just pushed, and then he falls down to the ground. He's the one that fell down. He pushed it. Nah, this officer is a Karen. Nah. This is like a slip and fall like type of issue. He shouldn't have been in the middle of the road. He should have been walking to that cruiser. Because if I'm not mistaken, that black SUV, I bet you that's his cruiser. And his cruiser is parked on the sidewalk. Let me go back a little bit. Okay. That's the guy. Okay, let me go back over here. Let me see something. Okay, this is when he fell. Okay, that's the cruiser. That's the police officer's car. So why is he parked? My question is, why is he parked here on this? It looks like it's like the bus area. I guess when the bus pulls in, they'll park here like to pick up people. It's like a bus stop. So why is this officer in the middle of the road and then pushes a bike and then pretends to fall down and falls down? See, he turns around, he pushes the bike. No. This guy needs an attorney. I'll fly to fucking South Florida right now and get that guy out. I'll get him out. I was like, dude, I know you're a fitness influencer and I don't give a fuck. This happened at Miami Beach. I have a very fucking good attorney in North Miami Beach that would love to take this case. And I guarantee you will win because the officer was in the wrong. He pushed the bike. He's lucky he didn't like hurt these people, but the people probably got nervous and were shaken and they crashed into a vehicle. And they ended up being seriously hurt. Like, that's crazy. Like, look, the cop pushed. And then he falls down on the floor. And he does like a body roll. If this is an officer and he can't get up from this officer needs to be fired. he does not need to be in the force. I'm sorry. My opinion, my thoughts, my show. The officer should be fired. If he can't get up from a fall like that, that's just a tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. You get your ass back up. You know what I mean? But now you want to claim all this stuff and to go to the media and make it look even like worse than what it is without even before like to me, I don't think the influencer's wrong. I think the influencer was in the right. The officer definitely was in the wrong. Like, play in the middle of the street and see what happens. You know, play stupid games, get stupid rewards. And the officer, pushed the bike. Hello. He went like this to the bike. He turned around and did that. Why did the officer do that? And now they're making like this influencer the bad guy. Something's not right. Something smells like shit. I hope he gets a good attorney. I tell you right now, I got a really fucking good attorney down in South Florida that would take this case. That would definitely take this case like in a heartbeat. Let's go ahead and continue watching it. Let's watch it on full speed. And then you let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments. Leave it wherever you want to leave it. Let's go ahead and put it to normal. Let's go ahead and back it up a little bit. And then we'll hit play. Let's go for it. So let's put the volume up so we can listen.
Stop, and then...
Wait, I gotta hear that one more time. He says
this
stop.
motorcycle to stop, and then...
Nah, he pushed. Why was he doing in the middle of the street doing that?
The officer had choice words for Armando Fragacha Valentinetto, a Brazilian-born personal trainer and fitness influencer with hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. They say he fled onto the MacArthur Causeway. In the meantime, Good Samaritans helped the officer up.
Thank you, sir.
Back to the causeway. Cops said the influencer wrecked into another car. In the video, you can see he's bloodied, and so is his wife, who was on the motorcycle, say police.
Turn around. I'm okay. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. You're just going to be detained for now.
He was more than detained. He would be sent to jail.
They were involved in a crash down there. They left, and then they got into another crash right here.
They stabilize his wife and take her to the hospital.
She didn't have a helmet. She didn't lose consciousness.
His next court date.
You see, they don't know what the hell's going on. These cops are like pigeon feeders, all right? They're just talking out of their ass, pretty much, because they don't know the true story. The true story was on that body cam, where that police officer was in the middle of the street. He pushed the bike. It's your fault you fell down. Why is that responsibility of the biker? If the biker's in the right, he's moving forward. You're implementing him, not he's implementing you. You turned around, you were walking away and walking across the street, and then you turn around and then you push the bike. Like, no, this guy is not. Oh, man, I hope this influencer gets a good attorney. Oh, I hope he gets a good attorney. I'm telling you, I know a good attorney down there.
Is in August.
Wherever he goes, we go.
Wherever he goes, we go. The guy would be taken to jail. Final note here, that Miami Beach police officer shows you the dangers of doing the job. Thank goodness he only had minor injuries. He did have fractured ribs.
Oh, now he has he did have minor injuries, but he did have fractured ribs. He had minor injuries. A fractured rib is not a fucking minor injury, you fucking dummy. Oh my god, that story is just so fucked up all around. I hope he hired a good attorney. I hope he sues the shit out of the police department. I really do. I hope he sues the shit out of the news media too, because they're already polluting the jury pool with the stupidity like news. Clearly, we saw the officer push the bike, not the bike push him. He's in the middle of the street. He's walking away, and he turns around. That's like me doing this, right? And I'm walking back to my thing, and I go the bike's coming this way, and I do this, and I push the bike. Does that make any sense? Lord, help me. Because right now, it's just stupid things are just happening more and more and more each day. It doesn't get better. It only gets worse. So let's go ahead and check out this one here. I want to see the outrage. Man, I feel bad for that Border Patrol officer that got shot in the face and on the arm or something. And it was a botched robbery. And these Dominicans came up to them and with a scooter, of course. And I guess it was a couple that was sitting by the water. And this opportunistic individual comes out and with gun in hand and tries to rob these individuals, not knowing that the guy that they're trying to rob is a Border Patrol officer. And he had his weapon on himself. And he shot the guy. Like the guy shot the Border Patrol officer, and the Border Patrol officer returned fire and got him and shot him. And he ended up in the hospital and so forth, whatever. But they were looking for these two individuals, and I believe they're both arrested. But the sad part is that these illegals are out of hand. A lot of these have been not disciplined for the past 4 years. They got away with so much crimes, so much murder, so much craziness that there was no accountability. Everything was just a lawless land for the past 4 years. Now that we're trying to reestablish some kind of form of structure that, they're trying, it costs a lot of money. It's a lot of manpower hours. There's millions upon millions and millions and millions, over 21 million illegals here in this country. Plus, I think it's more around 30, to be honest with you. But, numbers, could go up or down, whatever. But there are a lot of them here. And we're going to have cases like what happened out in New York, which is very sad. I hope the gentleman, the Border Patrol agent, has a speedy recovery, but it doesn't make sense for them to still get away with this. And the guy had a rap sheet to begin with. He had a robbery rap sheet from he did a robbery back in December, and then he had a stabbing. He stabbed someone in January of 2025, and then he was a menace, and he got away with it. You know what they did? He went to jail. He went to jail. They booked him and they released him. They give him a date and they tell him, all right, come back at this date. And then the other time they put an ankle monitor on him and they're yeah, come back at this time. What he do? He cut the ankle monitor and took off. No accountability at all. No follow-up at all. Now we have what happened the other day where you have this gentleman, was just hanging out with his girl by the water, by the breaker, right there. And these individuals come up and try to rob him. Oh, man. All right, let's check out the story. I got a few more here, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So bear with me. It's my return show, so it is what it is.
There was a broken border policy. Now that we have an individual that came into the country illegally, was released on his own recognizance, and then just went on a crime spree.
So now the consequences of an open border reverberating yet again. A previously deported illegal immigrant accused of shooting an off-duty CBP officer in the face. It happened Saturday night around midnight in New York City, and Kristi Noem, DHS Secretary, set to give an update a few minutes from now. And that will be our lead story on a Monday. Hope you enjoyed the weekend. Dana's got the week off. I'm Bill Hemmer, live here in New York. York City. And Jillian, take the train or the plane?
Always train.
Always train.
Flights are not reliable, Bill.
I got you. Good morning.
Never fly from
Thanks
D.C. to New York. Great to be with you.
Rena.
I'm Jillian Turner.
Hey,
this is
nice
American
to-
Newsroom. So the victim is in stable condition. We just learned Secretary Noem left the hospital
I'm
a
getting
moment ago
better.
after visiting
Takes
that
time.
officer. He was off duty at the time. Video shows the suspect and
at
another
this.
man approaching him on a scooter. The suspect then tries to what looks like rob him at gunpoint. The agent pulls out his own gun. They both exchange fire. That agent managing to wound the suspect. His accomplice, though, still at large.
So the suspect in custody is from the Dominican Republic, previously deported, but re-entered the U.S. under President Biden in 2023. We have heard that before. He's wanted in Massachusetts on kidnapping and weapons charges as of today.
So CBP Senior Advisor Ron Vitello is here. But first, let's go to CB Cotton. She's in New York City. Hi, CB.
Hi, Jillian. This case has the attention of the White House. As you said, this morning, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem visited the off-duty CBP agent who is now recovering in the hospital. And in a matter of moments, we expect her to give an update here. Investigators say right now they don't believe the off-duty agent was targeted for his job. But White House leaders are sounding off about the suspect who was here in the country illegally with a lengthy rap sheet. DHS tells us that Miguel Francisco Mora Nunez is a Dominican national. Investigators say his crimes include grand larceny in 2023, assault and criminal contempt in 2024, and armed robbery in 2025. Officers say late Saturday night, the off-duty agent fought back after realizing Nunez was trying to rob him in the city's Fort Washington Park. Surveillance video appears to show the suspect and another man roll up on a moped. One of them approaches the victim, who is sitting with a woman near the water. There's a scuffle, and right after, that's when it looks like the gunfire takes place. The off-duty agent was shot in the face and arm and is now communicating with hand gestures. City leaders say the case reeks of the country's once broken border.
The point that we're making here is this should never have occurred. We need thoughtful change to our sanctuary city laws in the city that protects our New Yorkers. This person here, Miguel Mora, is the poster child for what is wrong with sanctuary city status in New York City.
And this morning, investigators say the search for the second suspect continues. Back to you.
All right, CB Cotton in New York for us this morning. Thank you.
Want to bring in a senior advisor for the Customs and Border Patrol, Ron Vitiello. Ron, welcome back and good morning to you. Let me read a true social over the weekend, then I'll let you tell us what we need to understand about this awful incident on Saturday night. So the Democrats have flooded our nation with criminal invaders, and now they must all be thrown out, or in some cases, immediately prosecuted, and that we cannot take a chance that they are able to come back. That's how evil and dangerous they are. Ron, what happened in this case?
Well, obviously, this off-duty Customs and Border Protection officer, we're praying for his speedy and uncomplicated recovery. We're glad that the secretary and other leadership got to visit with him today. But this is an example of the destructive policy of sanctuary cities and a lawless, chaotic border that we suffered with under the Biden administration. What's important about this now is that if he was apprehended before these heinous crimes and sent back, it's very hard to cross the border today. If you do cross the border, you will likely be apprehended. You will mostly be prosecuted, and you will be removed very quickly from the United States.
Ron,
That's
the problem here
the policy
is
of President Trump.
He was in custody and he was released into the United States yet again. I mean, how many times are we going to report on a story like this?
It is unfortunate. This is, he has a criminal record in Massachusetts, so he was in custody and in some jurisdiction there. Massachusetts is a sanctuary state. New York also had charges against him, so he was likely released from a jurisdiction in or near the city. And this is what happens when you have a lawless, chaotic border in the previous administration, and then these destructive policies that prey upon people that live in these cities and towns and allow criminals to be sanctuaried, even though they're in the country illegally. This is the most preventable crime in the United States that occurs. Somebody that should not be here, that's committing crimes against the citizens and the communities in which they live.
Ron, the numbers don't lie. Joe Biden caught and released under his term 1.8 million. Donald Trump, so far, 6 months into a second term, 7. That is remarkable. Over the weekend, we learned a little bit more about this raid on a Home Depot in Sacramento, Northern California. 11 were taken into custody. And now we learned that 5 of the immigrants arrested had prior criminal histories. What should we know about this now, Ron?
Well, this is another example of what the danger and the risks that we all face with having an uncontrolled border and people in the United States that have not been invited here. They were not inspected at the border. They were not vetted when they were released at the border. And they're all amongst us. And so this is an example of the criminal activity that takes place in these groups. And so it puts to rest the nobility of people. Everybody that comes across the border is looking for a better life. Some of them are criminals. Some of them are very dangerous, and they have to be found and removed from the United States as quickly as possible. Right. That's what's underway now. So I'm proud of the stops that those agents made. And those threats do not exist in the Sacramento area anymore.
Ron, last question here. We're waiting on this briefing. It's going to happen in about 30 minutes. Kristi Noem's there, Tom Homan. What do you expect they'll tell us?
Well, I think they're going to reiterate that we want this the officer, to recover. And then point out the example of the dangers that we're all in because of these sanctuary policies and the chaotic border, which doesn't exist. The nonsense at the border is over. So we should all take heart in that. But now's an opportunity for us to expose the lie that coming across the border illegally and being released in the United States, it's just a terrible policy. And you marry that with sanctuary cities, and then it's just a problem for all of us that live here.
1.8 million versus 7. Ron, thanks for coming on. We're waiting that briefing, and we'll bring it to our viewers live when it begins. Thank you, sir. Ron Vitiello, thanks.
Wow, that's just crazy. All right, we're going to go to Tyson. Tyson's in the chat. We're going to watch on his, actually, 2 videos that I need to catch up. Sorry, I was on vacation. I wasn't able to see these 2, but we're going to watch them together. So let's go ahead and set this up here. And let's go ahead and watch.
Questions like this
What do you guys need from us?
go directly against city law.
She said that's the guy you guys are looking for.
America, we've got a story that exposes the rot at the highest levels in our local government. Providence, Rhode Island City Council president is now calling for an investigation into their own police department. Not because the officers committed any crime, but because they had the audacity to ask ICE agents, how can we help, while arresting a self-identified MS-13 gang member. But you know what's going to make you mad? While they were investigating police for helping arrest violent gang members, Rhode Island Representative Enrique Sanchez is calling ICE Nazi Gestapo thugs for removing MS-13 criminals from American streets. This is the level of insanity that we're dealing with in sanctuary cities.
Providence Police Colonel Oscar Perez says Providence police are not immigration officers, and officers responded to a home on Alverson Street over the weekend in response to a car crash.
On arrival, our officers noted that the vehicles involved were operated by agents of U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story illustrates how backwards priorities have gotten when asking federal agents how to help arrest a machete-wielding gang member is now considered a policy violation in America. Let me break down exactly what happened here because the details matter. ICE agents were pursuing a suspect who crashed his vehicle on Alverson Street. Providence police responded to the crash scene, standard procedure when there's an accident involving federal agents.
Our officers remain at the scene to ensure the safety of residents and to maintain order.
Perez says the person ICE was seeking on Sunday voluntarily surrendered and was taken into custody.
Oscar Perez explained that Providence officers remained at the scene to ensure the safety of the residents and to maintain order. The suspect voluntarily surrendered and was taken into custody. This sounds like professional law enforcement cooperation, right? Here's where it gets crazy. Body camera footage shows Providence police officers asking ICE agents, how can we help? And apparently now that's considered a violation of city policies in Providence.
I'm interested in making sure that our community knows that Providence Police are there to protect them, that they will
That's not far from me,
or serve
Tyson.
as immigration agents. And preliminarily, we believe that policy was followed in
It's an hour drive.
instance.
The mayor said that the video was jarring and the Providence police will not cooperate or serve as immigration agents. So asking how to help arrest a violent gang member is now considered serving as an immigration agent. Now let's talk about who they were actually arresting. This wasn't some innocent immigrant looking for work. This was a self-identified MS-13 gang member, the same organization that's known for its extreme violence. MS-13 isn't just a regular criminal organization. These are people who torture and murder for fun. They're known for machete attacks, human trafficking, drug dealing, the worst of the worst. And when federal agents are trying to get one of these animals off the streets, Providence officers are worried about policy violations. We're talking about gang members who served 20 years in prison for murder, who have been deported multiple times, and who keep coming back to terrorize American communities. But Providence is more concerned about their sanctuary policies than public safety. Thankfully, there was at least one person with some common sense in this story, Democrat State Representative Charlene Lima. And notice, I did say Democrat. So this isn't just a partisan issue. She had the courage to speak truth to power.
You know, what we should be doing is commending Mr. Holman and ICE for protecting our streets from these vile criminals, these child predators, fentanyl traffickers. These are bad people. And we have Mr. Holman and ICE coming in to protect our streets from these type of people to keep our communities safer.
Representative Lima said exactly what's needed to be said. We should be commending ICE for protecting our streets from these vile criminals, these child predators, fentanyl traffickers. Finally, a Democrat with some backbone.
I'm a common sense, outspoken Democrat, and I have been all 32 years of my life as I've been elected official, and I guess the people like it because they keep electing me. When they don't like it, they won't elect me anymore.
She calls herself a common sense, outspoken Democrat and says if people don't like her speaking the truth, they won't elect her anymore. That's refreshing and honest from a politician who actually cares more about public safety than political correctness.
He should be having, if I was mayor or governor, I would be mandating law enforcement must help ICE to keep our communities safer. In fact, there'd be penalties if they didn't help them.
She went even further and said, if I was mayor or governor, I would be mandating law enforcement must help ICE to keep our communities safer. In fact, they'd be penalized if they don't help them. That's exactly the kind of leadership we need. But not everybody in Rhode Island has Representative Lima's common sense. Rhode Island State Representative Enrique Sanchez had a completely unhinged response to ICE agents arresting a MS-13 gang member.
The Nazi Gestapo ICE thugs kidnapped another of our neighbor in Providence this morning. This time on Alverson Street, the ICE thugs demanded a couple of cars that belonged to residents as well. They think they are above the law. I strongly condemn this act of terror, and I will be demanding answers and seeking action tomorrow. I'm tired of this bleep. Providence doesn't want ICE thugs in our
Who's this
city.
guy?
Did you hear that? He called ICE agents Nazi Gestapo thugs for arresting an MS-13 gang member. He called it kidnapping and an act of terror. This is the level of insanity we're dealing with in some of these sanctuary cities. You know what's thicker than New England clam chowder? The irony of calling ICE terrorists while defending actual terrorism from MS-13. At least clam chowder serves a purpose, unlike these sanctuary policies that protect violent criminals.
Representative Sanchez is very genuine in his feelings, but he's very misguided in thinking that he's protecting his community by protecting the criminals. He's protecting the wrong people.
Representative Lima perfectly summed up the problem. Representative Sanchez is very genuine in his feelings, but he's very misguided in thinking that he's protecting his city, protecting criminals. He's protecting the wrong people. So what's the Providence City Council's response to police officers professionally cooperating with federal agents to arrest violent gang members? They're launching an investigation into their own police department.
Incidents involving federal immigration authorities can create anxiety and fear, particularly within our immigrant communities. I want to assure you that the Providence Police Department remains committed to fostering trust and safety for all residents. of all immigration status.
Perez is trying to reinsure immigrant communities that Providence police won't help federal agents arrest violent criminals. Think about how backwards that is. They're more concerned about protecting criminals than protecting law-abiding residents. Instead of investigating the MS-13 gang member who was terrorizing their community, they're investigating police officers who help arrest them. Instead of thanking ICE for removing the dangerous criminals, they're treating federal agents like the enemy. America, this Providence story perfectly illustrates everything wrong with sanctuary policies. When asking how can we help becomes a policy violation, when arresting MS-13 gang members is called terrorism, when police officers get investigated for cooperating with federal agents, the system is completely upside down. Representative Charlene Lima is a profile in courage, a Democrat who's willing to speak truth about the insanity of protecting violent criminals over law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, officials like Sanchez are calling ICE agents Nazi Gestapo thugs for arresting gang members who torture and murder innocent people. This is exactly why Trump's immigration enforcement is so important. When local officials refuse to cooperate with federal law enforcement, when they investigate their own police for helping arrest violent criminals, when they prioritize sanctuary policies over public safety, federal intervention becomes absolutely necessary. The people of Providence deserve better than leaders who protect MS-13 gang members while attacking police officers and federal agents trying to keep them safe. They deserve leaders like Representative Lima who have the courage to put public safety first. This is what happens when radical ideology takes priority over common sense and public safety. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Go to the next one. Tyson I got back-to-back on Tyson tonight. Tyson got back-to-backer tonight. So let's go ahead and start over here.
So authorities raided several restaurant locations in Arizona and Alabama earlier this week. Investigators say owners Robert and Brenda Costin conspired with two of their employees to hire undocumented migrants.
America, we just uncovered one of the most brazen schemes to exploit illegal workers and defraud the American taxpayer. Robert and Brenda Clouston, the husband and wife owners of a popular cult barbecue chain, have been arrested for running a decades-long criminal enterprise that systematically fired American workers and replaced them with cheaper illegal immigrants. They created a fake cleaning company to hide their crimes and pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent government benefits. But here's what's going to make your blood boil. Federal prosecutors say Robert Clouston actually ordered recruiters to specifically target Mexican nationals because they would work for less money than Americans. This wasn't cutting corners. This was organized crime disguised as barbecue.
Learning more about why the owners of a popular barbecue chain up in northern Arizona have found themselves in federal custody. The husband and wife owners of Colt Grill are accused of hiring illegal migrant workers for profit.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Now, remember, I briefly mentioned the Colt Grill during our PPP loan fraud investigation that raided restaurants across Alabama. If you haven't checked out that video, it'll be somewhere on the screen. Well, we just got the full federal indictment, and this Arizona case makes that Alabama operation look like child's play.
12 News journalist Sean Rice is in studio tonight. And Sean, we're told that this was a 3-year investigation that's just now coming to a head.
Yeah, we saw the arrest of those owners yesterday. We didn't know much about the investigation. We know a lot more now.
This 3-year Homeland Security investigation uncovered what they're calling a criminal ecosystem that stretched across 2 states and involved human trafficking, money laundering, and systematic exploitation of both illegal workers and American taxpayers. Let me break down this massive operation that federal agents have been tracking since 2022. The Colstons operated 4 Colt Grill locations in Arizona, Cottonwood, Prescott Valley, Prescott, and Sedona, plus one in Foley, Alabama, but they weren't just running restaurants.
Homeland Security investigations say they've been looking into criminal activity inside the doors of 5 Colt Grill locations since 2022. The owners, Robert and Brenda Clouston, are accused of creating a scheme to employ migrant workers at their restaurants, pay them no overtime, and less than minimum wage.
Working with them were Luis Pedro Raro James, 33 years old, and Iris Romero Malino,
Yeah, say
29
that
years
5
old,
times,
both Mexican
Tyson.
nationals illegally presented in the United States and resided in Cottonwood. These four created what the federal indictment describes as a sophisticated scheme to bypass federal employment laws. Here's the genius part about their scam. They created a fake cleaning company called R&R AZ Cleaning LLC that operated as a staffing company for the Cult Grill restaurants. This allowed them to pay workers below minimum wage, avoid overtime payments, and dodge employment taxes while keeping the payments separate from the main Cult Grill business.
The 10-page indictment says the Cloustons intentionally sought to bypass a federal employment system called E-Verify. That's a system that business owners are required to use to check if prospective employees have eligibility to work legally.
They intentionally bypassed E-Verify, the federal system that business owners are required to use to check if employees can legally work in the United States. This wasn't oversight or a mistake. This was deliberate criminal activity. You know, speaking of systems that are supposed to protect people but end up being confusing and overwhelming, if you're 65 or older, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Medicare. Just like these business owners exploit complex employment systems, there are plenty of people in the Medicare world trying to take advantage of seniors who don't understand all the rules and options. This is exactly why I want to tell you about Chapter. They're completely different.
That's a good one, though. I like
Get
it.
the help that you deserve. Now back to how
I
these
like
restaurant
Tyson.
owners betrayed American workers. According to prosecutors, Robert Colston didn't just hire illegal workers. He actively directed his recruiters to fire U.S. citizens and replace them with
Man, that's
undocumented
fucking
workers,
crazy.
specifically Mexican nationals who work for a lower wage. Former federal
Come back in
prosecutor
a
Josh
second.
Kaus explained the financial incentives. The businesses won't have to pay the appropriate taxes on those wages, so they're saving money in two different fronts.
There we
One
go.
with payroll and the second with taxes with the U.S. and the state governments.
The business won't have to pay the appropriate taxes. So they're saving money in two different fronts. One with payroll, and the second with taxes with the U.S. and state governments. So that there's a lot of financial incentives to try to cheat the government in this aspect.
Think about this. American workers were literally being fired and replaced with illegal immigrants who could be exploited for cheaper labor. This is exactly what President Trump has been talking about when he says illegal immigration hurts American workers. The fake cleaning company allowed them to pay some workers well below minimum wage, often cash, potentially shielding the payments from the main Cult Grill business and avoiding proper tax reporting. The federal agents moved in and they didn't mess around. Coordinated raids hit all 5 locations simultaneously, 4 in Arizona, 1 in Alabama. The FBI, ICE, the Department of Labor, and IRS all worked together on this operation.
Court documents detail how they bought several properties to house the migrants and then cars to take them to and from work.
During the raids, they also detained 20 people working for the Cult Grill locations on immigrant violations. They weren't just employment violations. Federal agents found evidence of human smuggling and trafficking.
We're just shocked that this is happening.
Hungry customers
That's
walked
scary.
away disappointed from Cult Grill in Prescott and Prescott Valley Tuesday morning.
So sad, so very sad. One of our favorite places.
Customers were shocked, but what they didn't know is that their favorite barbecue joint was built on the foundation of criminal activity and worker exploitation.
When they dropped in yesterday at 11 o'clock, I have no doubt that Colt Enterprises were caught with their pants down, so to speak.
Former federal prosecutor Josh Colesrud knows what goes into prosecuting a case just like the one against the owners of Cult Grill.
Former prosecutor Josh Klaus said the Cloustons were caught with their pants down when federal agents showed up at 11 a.m. After 3 years of investigation, they had no idea that this was coming. Now, after diving deep in the story, I got to tell you guys something. I've actually been to this Prescott location several years ago. So I decided to do some digging and look up their Yelp reviews to see what people were saying. Looking at the reviews, you can see a pattern, what makes a lot of sense now. Lots of people were praising the food, but several reviewers mentioned things were actually red flags. Multiple people noted that staff seemed to change pretty frequently, and some mentioned communication issues with employees. Makes me wonder the working conditions. Now we know why. They were constantly cycling through illegal workers, firing American citizens who might complain about working conditions, and exploit people who couldn't report violations because of their immigration status. What looked like a successful local business was actually a criminal operation hiding in plain sight. The 4 defendants face serious federal charges that could result in decades in prison, conspiracy to transport illegal aliens, conspiracy to harbor illegal aliens, conspiracy to encourage and induce an alien to unlawfully enter the United States, and pattern and practice of knowingly employing unauthorized aliens. The Colstons appeared in federal court in Flagstaff and will remain in federal custody until a detention hearing on Monday. But here's what makes this case even more serious. This wasn't just employment violations.
And Sean joins us now. And Sean, there are a lot of moving parts to this, but the one that intrigues me is differentiating between human smuggling and hiring and employing people who are here illegally. In this case, it's both, right?
It is both.
As the reporter explained, in this case, it was both employment violations and human smuggling. The Colstons hired Rarel Rimes and Romeo Molina specifically to facilitate bringing people across the border to work for their restaurants. That's actively participating in human trafficking. The restaurant filed a WARN notice on Wednesday announcing 200 employees will be laid off. That's 200 jobs lost because the owners chose to run a criminal enterprise instead of a legitimate business. This case is part of Operation Take Back America, the Justice Department's nationwide initiative to fight illegal immigration and criminal networks that profit from it. County Sheriff David Rhodes says coordinating multi-agency enforcement actions like this one are essential to protecting our communities and destabilizing the impact of organized crime. Think about the ripple effects here. 200 people lost their jobs, customers losing a restaurant that they love, a community losing tax revenue, and American workers who were systematically discriminated against in favor of exploitable illegal labor. The Colstons could have ran a legitimate business, hired American workers legally, paid proper wages and taxes, and still been successful. Instead, they chose to build their empire on criminal activity and worker exploitation. America, this Colt Grill case perfectly connects our Alabama PPP fraud story and shows how these criminal networks operate nationwide. What looked like a successful barbecue chain with good Yelp reviews was actually a sophisticated criminal operation that systematically discriminated against American workers. The Colstons didn't just hire illegal workers, they actively fired American citizens to replace them with cheaper exploitable labor. They created fake companies to hide their crimes, bypassed federal employment verification systems, and participated in human trafficking to maintain their supply of exploitable workers. This is exactly why President Trump's immigration enforcement is so critical. These weren't victimless crimes. American workers lose jobs, communities lose tax revenue, and illegal immigrants get exploited by criminals who see them as disposable labor. The good news is that Operation Take Back America is exposing these networks and holding criminals
Tyson,
accountable. When
jump
business
on the
owners
show.
choose to exploit
Oh,
illegal
listen,
workers
you
instead of
on
hiring
this one.
Americans legally, when they create fake companies to hide their crimes, when they participate in human trafficking, there are serious federal consequences. The 200 employees
Tyson, are
who
you
lost their
busy?
jobs are the real victims here, along with the American workers who were systematically discriminated
This is
against
wild.
and the illegal workers who were exploited by this criminal network. This case shows that the criminal networks we exposed in Alabama are part of a much larger pattern of organized crime hiding behind legitimate businesses. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
That's freaking awesome, Tyson. We're reporting on that one. Like my thing is like, I wonder if any minors were involved. You know, because these places and establishments, yeah, you don't see them as waiters or waitresses or anything like that. They could be in the kitchen washing dishes. They have a little kid out there washing dishes and preparing plates. That's wild. That's so wild. Yeah, no, drive safe, man. No, I'll have you come on another time because you come around with some good stories and so forth. And the one from Rhode Island, that the ice one, that's crazy. Like, I live next to Rhode Island. I'm actually about an hour away. I mean, depends on the traffic. It could be an hour and 10 minutes or less, an hour and 5 minutes. I'm at Rhode Island. And the fact that the smallest state in the country by size, I don't even know why they're a state, to be honest with you. Connecticut should have just inherited Rhode Island and just made it all Connecticut and then made Canada the 50th state. Oh no, Trump must like how I think. But No, it's just Rhode Island. Listen, ice comes. I wish ice was at Niagara Falls when I went. Rena, where's Rena? Rena's in the chat. I went with her, and we went to Niagara Falls, and it was beautiful. We had a great time. Like it was very therapeutical. Like one with nature. I took some videos. I took some shorts. Check them out. They're pretty cool. The cardinal one. That was my first ever encounter with a cardinal. Filming it next to Niagara Falls, you could hear the rush of the water as the bird is chirping. For like, I took almost a minute long video of that bird, and I put no music on it. None. It was just nature, what you hear in that background, and that was a cool video. The Niagara Falls ones are really cool. The Watkins Glen one, State Park, is beautiful. The Rainbow Falls, oh, that's so magical. There was one video that I did. I put two into one, but it was with the water coming. Which was Rainbow Falls. It looked like rain coming down, but it's actually the waterfall. And the guy with his child, and he was putting water on himself, and he put water on his child, and like the energy, from that, it felt so good. I did the same thing. I put water on myself too from that, and it's like a baptism of nature heals, right? I always say nature heals. But I have a lot of video. Oh my god, so much. Reina, beautiful experience. Yes, for sure. It was, and I went with her. She's on the YouTube. She's on my channel now. Now she can see everything that I do. Yeah, I'm very transparent. I've done over 700 like videos, so knock your socks off. I've done a lot. I've been on YouTube for years and years. But just to think about the illegal migrants, right? And yes, they were working at this beautiful location restaurant called Colts. You could just imagine, okay, if they're doing that, imagine other businesses from all around the country here that's doing the same thing and is having like this operation, like it's remember, these people gotta work, they gotta eat, they gotta like support their family somehow, they gotta do it under the table. Sometimes Juanito can't, he can't be out in the streets like that because ICE will come and get him. But if you sneak him in through a car and you take him to the location and you tell him get out and go to work, that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of some kind of slavery, and the fact that you got to be stuck in the kitchen and they can't know who you are or be seen because they could report, and I wonder how they got busted. To be honest, that'll be a good follow-up story to listen to. Like, who reported this? Who reported like Juanito? Juanito was just trying to like make money for his family, but Juanito got, he's not in a good place right now. He's with ICE. Let me tell you, Rena, if I would have screamed ICE, everybody would have probably went running. We could have had the best views, Rena. I forgot to do that. I would have done that. They would have freaked out. Like, the reason why I didn't say it out loud is because like I don't want them to jump off the bridge, because there was a lot of like, I don't know if they were legal or not, but there were a lot of Indians. There were a lot of like, you could tell Pakistanians. You could tell they're like not from here. Like the smell of paprika was really strong. Like it was musty. Like there was this one, oh my god, I passed by and it just smelled like BO big time. Like, oh my god, that body odor was Oh no. It was just bad. It was bad. I knew it was gonna be bad, but God, that was bad. Good thing it was for a moment, but it's a moment that's always gonna be etched in my mind, experiencing that smell. That's so disgusting. But the falls, the whole area, it was such a great experience. Like getting the water from the falls was to me so magical, so beautiful. I have so much video that I still gotta upload on YouTube. I'm working on it. I'm gonna probably put one up tonight before I go to sleep. I'll probably put one more up. Yeah, it was a good experience. I had a great time. Um, it was the fireworks were really nice. The fireworks, we had a perfect spot too. It was like right in front of us. So, um, I'm just happy all around. The whole waterfalls, and when it was misty, when it was the spray was really strong, we got wet, and it felt good. It felt like a blessing, like we're being blessed by nature. And I had a great time. I already did the whole weekend. Oh, Reina, I already talked about the Blau. I already talked about the Calle de Blau. I already spoke about it. I go the Bendit people. I go, the street of the Bendit. Yeah, Rochester, New York is it's scary to drive around there at night, especially at the time that I was driving. I wasn't scared or anything because I had Raina in the car. That bitch, she'll come out and she'll be like, "What the fuck?" She'll fuck them up for me. I don't have to do shit. It's like, here, take my cane, fuck them up, fuck them up, Rena. But there was a lot of abundant people. She could tell you the Blau. Oh, yo, she could tell you about it. She could tell you everything. She witnessed it more than I do. She knows about them. We already named them. There's a street for them. It's called Calle de lo Doblao. That's what the street of the Bendit. They're gonna be there. The Bendit people, the ones that are on Fontenot, and they're like they're hunched over and they're like touching the ground like that. And literally like Thriller. If you go there at night and you see that, that's what I mean by Thriller. It's like every time I see them and I see all those prostitutes and all those craziness that's on that street, I always think of like Michael Jackson. I'm waiting for him to like to come on and just play Thriller. That's what we should have played that night, Arena. We should have played on the radio. We should have played some Thriller. Oh no. It was crazy. I'm disappointed in the mayor and the people that run Rochester. That should not be like that. If I was there and I was running and I was mayor of that city, I tell you right now, I would clean up that shit. Like the laws, they'll be gone. They'll be in an institute, and there'll be recovery and all that prostitution and all those people. Like I said, I experienced the boys in the hood. Like they had gambling like right in front of us. Like the guys were, I thought there were like six of them there. They were gambling with money in their hands and playing in the middle of the road. I go, the only time you play in the middle of the road is when you want to get run over. Cause that's one thing I don't do. I don't stop. I don't stop. I answer questions later, but I'm not stopping. They got the wrong one with me. Yeah, a lot of jaywalkers. I had to put the fear in them. If you keep letting them do it, then they're gonna continue doing it. But they're gonna get someone like me. They ain't gonna stop for them. Then they're gonna learn their lesson. One way or another, they're gonna learn. It's crazy here. Yeah, it's true. All right, so I got one last story of the night, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. And it's a crazy story. It's another crazy story. Just What I mean by crazy, it is very crazy. Let me set this up, and we can watch the last show of the night because I gotta get to bed. Let's see here. There's an accident that happened at a facility where an MRI death happened. Man dies after a heavy metal chain pulls him into the machine and kills him. Like, you can imagine these MRI machines. Yeah, that's something wrong. I think that has to do with the technician and the one who's running like the facility, because there's two people that are usually doing this stuff. And you need to go through a process, because I've done so many MRIs. I could tell you, like, you got to take all your jewelry off. Like, if you have any earrings, any fluffy bumping area piercings, you got to take that shit off too. Anything that piercings, all that stuff got to come off. And if you have one in your hookah, like in your hoo-ha, you got to take the one out of your hoo-ha out too. You can't go in the machine with your piercing in your hoo-ha, because they'll rip your hoo-ha up. You don't want to rip up your hoo-ha. You're gonna be screaming. Like, you're not gonna like the feeling. I'll tell you right now. But this gentleman, I don't know how he got into that room, but he got in, and I don't know. You gotta remember, if the machine was still on, that magnet is still like on, and what magnet does to metal? It attracts. And what did that metal chain around that guy's neck do? It brought him in and ripped him up and killed him. I'm just surprised if it dismembered him. And the magnets are very strong. Those are powerful magnets. So now let's watch the story, and then y'all be the judge. It's crazy.
Our next story takes us out to New York. Really a bizarre story that turned out very, very unfortunate for a man in a major MRI accident. And so for more on this, let's go out to Fox News' Nate Foy with this latest of this really unusual story, Nate.
Hey, Mike. So the widow here, Adrienne Jones McAllister, says that she asked for her husband, Keith, to help her get up from the MRI machine after she got a scan on her knee. But when he entered the room, the magnet in the machine latched onto a heavy metal chain that was wrapped around his neck. So that chain weighed roughly 20 pounds. It had a padlock on it that he used for weightlifting.
What?
Adrienne says that she and the technician tried pulling Keith away from the machine, but ultimately they couldn't save him.
I said, could you turn up the machine, call 911, do something, turn this damn thing off. I still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing. He waved goodbye to me, and then his whole body went limp.
Can't even imagine what that woman is going through.
I can imagine. He wasn't supposed to be in there.
Arrival officers were informed that a male, 61 years old, entered an unauthorized magnetic resonance imaging room while the scan was in progress.
Oh.
The male victim was wearing a large metallic chain around his neck, causing him to be drawn into the machine, which resulted in a medical episode. McAllister's wife says he suffered several heart attacks after the incident. She claims the technician let her husband inside the MRI room. NASA Open MRI, where it all happened, tells Fox today that it doesn't have a comment. Medical experts say MRI machines create strong magnetic fields that can be dangerous.
Circle you see there, it's called a gantry. The magnet is inside there. It's huge. It's a big size, as you can see, and it's
That's
very,
why
very powerful.
the United States want the rare earths.
McAllister's husband was reportedly attached to the MRI machine for roughly an hour before he was taken to the hospital in critical condition and then pronounced dead the following day. We'll send it back to you, Mike.
Yeah, Nate, just a shocking story there. And are they looking at any protocols to see? It doesn't seem like that happens a lot, where you're able to go right into the area just immediately after an MRI.
Yeah, anybody who's ever gotten an MRI knows that there are several steps to it. There are signs everywhere. So obviously this story is bringing a lot of questions as to how the husband was able to walk into the MRI room as the scan was in progress without being checked for any metal on his body.
Exactly.
And that is something that is sort of being disputed here. We're not hearing back from the hospital quite yet. Of course, as we mentioned in the report, the wife says that the technician allowed the husband to walk right in. But to your point, typically there are several different zones. In fact, I believe there are 4 different zones. You need to go through each one before you actually enter the room with the MRI machine. And that protocol certainly wasn't followed here.
Nate Boyd, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox and giving us.
Okay, so let me come back to me because I'm gonna go through my experience and the process for this MRI. Let me take a moment to reflect. That's crazy. Because I could see it happening, right? These machines are powerful magnets, right? That's the reason why the US wants to secure so much rare earths. You know the reason why the United States cares so much about the rare earths and why they want them? It's because they want to make more powerful MRI machines and they require rare earths. And rare earths is magnets. And they're developing state of the art machines, MRI machines, with these powerful magnets that are going to be so strong that they could determine cancer in your body. That's why the United States is making deals with people like Ukraine, China, and others for the rare earths. Now I'm here thinking the last time I went to an MRI, the process. Well, from the hospital and from a facility. The facility, that's hard to go in as a like you have a patient. Let's say you go with your partner, and I don't understand how the partner got to the X-ray machine. And the reason why I say that is because I'm comparing it to mine, right? There's a waiting room area, right? So in that room, when you walk into the facility, that's the waiting room. You check in with the attendant there. Then you sit down for a bit. They'll call you in. So the nurse will come up, open the door, call you in. If you come in with your spouse, then they'll direct the spouse to where they can wait at because there's a waiting room. So they'll take them to the waiting room, and then the patient would go. They'll give them their gown and all that stuff, and they got to change their clothes. So they give them like a little. It's like a little locker room. So you got like to change and so forth, and take off your clothes and put your clothes in the locker. They give you a lock and key, so you lock the locker and you take the key, and then you give the key to the attendant that clips it onto the board, and then they scan you. They take you to this attached to the wall, like how this is here. So they have something like that down, and then you have to like go in a circle, and it scans you to see if you have anything metallic or any jewelry or anything on, because all that stuff needs to come off. So they scan you, and then once you're scanned and you're good, then they take you to the MRI room. And then when you go in the MRI room, it's not like you just go right in. It's a door, and then there's another door to get into it. Now, that first door, that's where like the technicians, and like on the left, they have a room there. That's where all the technicians are and who are running the MRI. And then you have to open the door and then go in, and then that's where you sit down on the machine and they lay you down. And depending what type of scan they're doing, they'll sometimes lock your head in place, like they did to me when I had to do a brain scan and all that crazy fun stuff. Then they have other ones, they have to lay there and just. I'm claustrophobic, so in there it's always tough for me. So they always put music on for me. They put a mask on my face. They cover my face because I don't want to look. I don't see nothing. I don't want to see nothing. So they actually cover your face, and they put the headphones on. And I always tell them to put on soft rock, because I like soft rock radio. I like soft, like I like to understand the music that I'm listening to. Okay, so that right there explains to you what type of person I am. I like to the music. I like to I love music. I'm very good with music. It's just the rhythm, the beats. I really do like music, but I don't like all types of music. I can't listen to rap. I can't listen to that boom, 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 bitch, motherfucker, bitch, you're a motherfucking bitch music. I can't listen to that. I'm not good with that. I like music that I understand and it's nice. I don't know, but for him to walk in with a chain on, you know what I mean? You have to go through all these processes to get to that MRI machine. And mind you, it's on. It tells you that the X-ray machine room is on. Like it says X-ray, it'll say MRI in progress. And that door that he walked in, that door should have been locked. If he just walked in there, that door was open, and he's just walking in like it's all good through the whole process, and he has a 20-pound chain on. Who walks around with Who walks around with 20-pound chain on their neck with a padlock? Who? Shit, Mr. T? I don't even think Mr. T ever wore the chain with a lock on. At least his shit was gold. This bitch went in there with a iron chain and a lock. Like probably a master lock or some shit. Some kind of padlock. You know that machine sucked them in? Like the fucking Portuguese. You know when the door opens in the Portuguese, the first movie? Where they're in the room and everything's being sucked into the closet. I think that's like how he got sucked in. He got sucked into it, and he just his neck and his body just like he was pinned between the magnet and the chain, and he was dead. He was dead. I know the whole lady, her experience and what she saw and stuff. I can see it right now in my head. This dude got fucked up. He got tore up from the floor up. He's not with us, and how the hell that happened is the biggest. Like a lot of these places, they do have cameras, so I'm kind of like hoping that this facility had cameras. If not, we'll have to go through the testimonial, which is interviewing everyone that was there. Usually these places don't have that many people on staff. The place I go to usually have like, my guess it's like 7 or 8 individuals that are there at a time. But I've also been to MRI place, and I'm trying to compare it to that place too, because you got to go through. There's a waiting room area, and then there's the receptionist that's right there. and then they call you in, but I'm not sure there your spouse is allowed to go through because they have to wait outside, and then they do the MRI stuff, and that place usually has like 2 or 3 people on staff at any given time. So even if it's 3 people, if it's a light staff, he had to gone through many processes to get into that area to be pulled in. Like as an MRI, what's his purpose of walking in there? Like if he knows that his wife is getting an MRI, why would you want to walk in while she's doing an MRI? Is the question. You know, because what in his right mind made him want to go and get sucked in through the machine? Because that's a high power machine. That remember when you get these MRIs, they turn on. These are very powerful magnets. And this guy had a chain around his neck that he flew into that machine. He flew headfirst into that machine. And he got decapitated, I'm pretty sure. Like, he got choked out. Remember, that metal's pushing all the way through because it's a magnet. It's a super magnet. And he waved. Like, he went like that. Like, he knew he was dying, so he waved. He said goodbye. And he died. Makes you wonder. Life is too short. Don't do stupid shit. That's stupid shit. I hope you learned this lesson. I hope everyone don't do that, please, because that machine is very powerful. Very, very those type of magnets are very powerful. Yes, they're very helpful, but yes, they will kill your ass. And I've been through MRI machines so many times. It's like that MRI machine knows me by heart. It's like, oh, you again. I'm like, yeah, I'm not here for the, I just need to get this shit done. I don't like the claustrophobic. I always have to cover my eyes and listen to some soft rock. I'm good. So with that said, thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. I made it to like 3 hours and 46 minutes. That's crazy. I usually don't do that, but it's my day back. My I'm back video. So I'm back in my groove. And hope to be doing this every day. So we'll see. Let's see what happens. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Truly appreciate you guys. Don't forget, watch my shorts. Watch my shorts. Watch the videos. They're really relaxing, very inspirational, like music. So listen and also watch. I will be putting up more videos. Probably when I get off of here, I'll put something on so you guys can watch. But like I always say, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are. And I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm going to see tomorrow. I can come on here and then do it all over again. I need to get back on the groove with the timing and so forth. So hopefully I'll be able to come on a little earlier and do a earlier show. It really depends too on how I feel. I mean, I put myself to the test, 2 hours and 40 something minutes. Let's see how my throat is going to feel tomorrow morning when I wake up. If it's a no-go, I won't show up. But if it's a go, I'll be here. With that said, have a good night, everyone. I appreciate it so much. Bye for now.